started. Welcome everyone to Blanket Term Presents the Chronicles of Ishurla, a weekly tabletop role-playing game series that we're doing. So the way this works is that every arc is DM'd by a different person, and the other people in the group are going to be playing PCs. My name's Alan, and I'm your GM for this arc, and I'm joined by the rest of the Blanket Term.
In what order do we go?
I don't know. Last time we went Brandon. I mean, we
pointed at me just as I was yawning, so I'm not going first.
We always botch stuff. I went first last time because that's podcast orientation.
I'll go.
Thank you.
My name's Dawn, and I'm playing Fern Snapdragon.
I'm Brandon. I'm playing Frog.
And I'm Albert, and I'll be playing Malmira.
Yeah, and they are currently in the Ilthos Butcher arc. This is the third episode, and hopefully the conclusion of this arc. So thus far, our three brave adventurers from the Shared Responsibility Commission, which is a pseudo-adventuring contingent within the Ishurlan government, has been sent to the city-state of Oathmaker in order to look into a recently closed homicide investigation. It was closed by the Homicide Review Board, and the murder investigations into a serial killer known as the Ilthos Butcher, who has 13 known victims and countless other ones that have yet to be confirmed. And the investigation was closed under mysterious circumstances. Two of the victims were identified and whose identities were not released to the public. Were identified by a homicide investigator who is anonymously attempting to reopen the investigation. The three adventurers met with their informant and liaison, Theodore Weinmore, who is not sort of a Thai Bahama type, who has a neon green pseudo dragon, who gave them a lot of information in terms of being their go-between, and they were told that they need to find actionable evidence to reopen the investigation, and whether they choose to go however they want to go about doing that, that's their prerogative. The SRC within Oathmaker gave them essentially just authority to do whatever the fuck they want. So that's what they've been doing. They were given covers, and the three of them have been attempting to investigate this. They have gone to the library for intense research scenes. They've gone on ghost tours to go meet with Ghost Mario, intellectually distinct from anything else. And they've gone to the Temple of the Primordial Truth, sort of intellectual temple that gave them quite a bit of insight into potentially different aspects of the Ilthos murderer. Last we left off, I believe Fern and Snaps and Frog had just finished up talking with the people of the Primordial Truth. Yeah. And you guys are all left, and you guys are going back to the hotel. You guys comfortable starting there, back at the hotel? Or is there anything you guys wanted to do before you guys head back?
That sounds good. I feel like we would reconvene with Malmira.
Yeah, I think that's where we were headed. I think we were heading back because we had just finished up speaking to. I thought I wrote her name down, but I can't find it.
The Goliath lady.
Yeah. Her name's Velma Sakrosi.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, she's a Goliath woman with an asymmetrical patterning on her face, and she has loosely curled, long hair, bobbed hair. Yeah. She was the Bloodcaster Necromancer, one of the, as far as she knows, the only open Bloodcaster that she knows of. And you guys were talking to her about casting magic using biomass. And that gave you some insight into potentially how these victims were being killed.
And more importantly, why.
And why, perhaps. Yeah.
And it seems that we have a possible motive and therefore I
feel like I don't know. We'd have to ask if it's like enough to get it opened or what pieces were missing specifically.
Yeah, because the big thing was that the rituals that we've seen, that the rituals that seem to be going on here are indicative likely of somebody using these people to create either other beings or, long story short, they're using these people for energy, probably to make Knowles ? And if not Knowles directly, something else kind of inspired out of that, which means that could be a far larger problem, because in theory they could be amassing an army of some sort.
Yeah.
Not like an army, but the idea that they've murdered people and are potentially incubating them right now is concerning.
Yeah.
It's like a more active threat.
Yeah, but before we go any further, did anyone want me to remind them about what happened last episode before we hop into the role play aspect of what the session real quick?
I'm okay with you giving us like a quick just a quick last time on.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was what I kind of did. I just don't know what aspects you guys want me to remind you about.
Just give us an elevator pitch.
Yeah. Okay. So when talking to first off, Malmira went in and talked to Bertha Rose, the archivist of ancient literature, and she had hinted at the various readings and interpretations of spirits and divine creatures in Ishurla, and how there's no really one solid conclusion on what that is. There's theories, there's numerous writings on it, and for the most part it appears to be more the divine aspect of this world has not as concrete as it was in the previous plane, and Malmira was looking into that and got some insight into potentially his own divine nature. Then after talking to Bertha Rose, Snaps and Frog talked to Velma Sacrosi, the Goliath Bloodcaster, who talked to them at length about about like null biomancy and using them for incubation stuff, as well as hinting at previous experiments done within the Church of the Primordial Truth. The Temple of the Primordial Truth. And she insisted quite a bit about how those things were shut down by the religious consult within the public government, and that currently they're within that her research paths have been approved by said oversight. Yeah. And then you guys, that's as far as I remember.
We also met with our handler.
Yes, you met with I think his name was Nathan. No, hold on.
It's Oathmaker.
Yeah, Oathmaker.
Sergeant Oathmaker is what I have written down.
Sergeant Oathmaker. I just can't, for some reason, I think his name's super close to someone else, so that's why I think I'm going to be confused.
There we go. I got my
notes. I think those are.
Yeah, we met with him.
Oh, it's Hector. Okay, yeah.
Oh, Hector. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking his name was Nathan, but yeah, his name's Hector Oathmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you guys met with him, and you guys basically gave him an update, and he just told you, like, hey, let me know where to send the cops if you die.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, that's basically what he kind of wanted to run down you with. You also inquired for him to send you a box of information on Staff Sergeant Ymir, who was part of the PR Corps of the Oadmesh military. And who was also a member of the Homicide Review Board that was newly elected and also voted to close the investigation.
Yeah.
Yes, so we're investigating him to see if he had a suspicious motive.
Yeah, and other members of the Homicide Review Board that were flagged by the previous homicide investigation lead was Bishop Matilda Taproot, Staff Sergeant Ymir Ultz, who you guys are looking into, and Seismos Brighton, the lizardfolk politician, with a 17-piece suit.
17-piece suit.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, this is a real convoluted narrative that I've tried to weave, and I fear that sometimes it may be too convoluted, but we're gonna go forward with it. So we come back to the Oadmesh Heighton Inn, I believe we called it.
The Heighton Inn.
I don't know. You guys are coming back to the inn, and we see a bird's eye view of Oadmesh on the slopes of the canyon hill. We see that it's just tiered with like a half of it being up literally on top of a cliff, kind of carved into it. A lot of smokestacks coming in and out of the spires. There's a wind that comes in and sweeps out all the smoke and pushes it up the cliff. We see steam engine vehicles coming and going. We see a freight elevator kind of on a diagonal, like on a slanted rail, taking up resources up and down the hills. And we see a castle, almost looking like a huge fortress, like on the side, nearby the waterfall. And as we go through the city streets, we see all of the hustle and bustle, a lot of the trade, and sort of them loading up airships, filled with raw minerals, and factories going about. And we go to the inn where we see you guys meeting up, reviewing your notes, and you guys had just received this package. Let's say that it jumped forward a little bit later in the evening, and you guys are going over your notes, as well as going over the package that you've just received from Oathmaker regarding Staff Sergeant Ymir.
Let's go ahead and open up that package, I guess.
Yeah. Inside, you guys look into it, and it outlines Ymir's history and serving in the Oathmesh military. Joined at a relatively young age from an officer academy, ended up attaining the rank of staff sergeant, didn't ever become an actual officer, went into the PR Corps, and is currently on track to become an officer via schooling and serving in the PR Corps while simultaneously continuing education. Looks like he's enrolled in one of the military sort of academies that are interior to Oathmesh, and is currently middling management of the PR Corps, mainly working on sort of like public image for the most part. Yeah, and like recruitment efforts. Aside from that, nothing that glares out to you in terms of military career. Personal life looks like he just has he's the middle child of about like three kids. Father's ex-military, and mother looks like she was some sort of country person, lived out not in the city, but like lived on a farm, and that's about it as far as the report says. Anything else about Staff Sergeant Ymir you wanted to know? Or do you want more? Probably you guys would have outlined more about the PR Corps, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, really what we were looking for with it was, I don't know, just to see if he might have had any motivation, if there was any suspicious dealings or anything surrounding the time frame of him becoming elected and thereby, like, taking the position.
Okay.
And halting the investigation.
All right. You're looking at it, and in terms of the PR Corps, the PR Corps itself has historically had various things. One of the things that is outlined and probably brought to light in this document request is that the PR Corps was recently given orders to increase public confidence in the military corps, especially after a lot of the more recent gang activities that have been happening, and there was an initiative put out to increase public confidence. And the PR Corps, one of the policies they've implemented has been scaling back unsolved cases, and this seems to be part of that. So it looks like it's a sweeping order throughout all the PR Corps to start to look into ways to bring down unsolved rates to increase their numbers, so to speak, of closed cases and convictions and stuff like that. So it looks like that's kind of, this could be bundled into that. But looking into Ymir's personal life, it doesn't really look like there's any religious leanings aside from his mom, who was part of an alt faith church, and his father doesn't look like he's particularly religious. No declared religion on any of his military forms, and Ymir himself, or themselves rather, is doesn't seem to be actively religious, but the document does say that he has someone trailing him just to kind of keep an eye on his day-to-day life. This is all kind of all like official stuff that could be pulled in a day. It looks like there might be a way to Oathmaker has someone loosely following him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Since when was this person following him?
Since you requested it yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not much, but
Yeah.
I mean, this is what they got in a day, which is pretty good.
Well, no, this is just all the official paperwork.
Oh.
This is like someone went to to an office and just pulled some files.
Yeah, a lot of this is probably pretty public.
Yeah.
I mean, it saved us a day of researching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't seem to be anything that's useful to us whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. We went back, Malmira, and we talked to. We were able to talk to someone who was kind of an aficionado on some pretty grisly, like ritualistic magic.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, but so we got a lot of information out of them, and we suspect that it might be something similar to like how gnolls are made, but not necessarily to say that it has gnolls involved. But it's similar kinds of like probably dark stuff, and we might want to try and figure out information on because the lady Velma, she said that she's the only person who cast that kind of blood magic that she knows of, but there were people that were part of the church before it got the whole program got axed, and she hinted at there might be a problem with someone continuing to keep acting on it, but we didn't want to ask about him.
Yeah, there was somebody specifically who became excommunicated from the church, presumably for something like human experimentation with blood magic.
Yeah. So I suspect that might be our next lead if we can ask any of our informants about that guy.
She said
or
the
girl.
person was excommunicated about how long ago?
It would have been 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has the butcher been out and about?
6.
Okay.
So the timeline kind of fits.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily as like a disgruntled person, but I mean, if I recall correctly, the first 2 years had the most cases, and then it dropped off pretty succinctly, which could line up with them having people helping them and supporting it, and then eventually
losing that funding and support,
and having to kind of go about it on their own. Regardless, I think it's a pretty clear and present threat that that somebody could be using these people.
Oh, yes, I agree, but we're going to need some kind of harder proof than just speculation.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is that we're done. I'm just saying this is our first real only lead.
I wonder if there are any byproducts or some sort of way we could track down whatever is being produced by this magic, if it is a ritual. I'm trying to think of what I have available to me, and I can't think of anything that would be super helpful.
You know? So I know a lot about magic. Like so much about magic. I love magic.
Okay.
I'm good at magic. Good at magic.
Yeah.
But I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, because I can't remember if I'm getting my lores mixed up here. I think there might be ways that you can track people through their blood. And if, in theory, we have any bits of these corpses left at all, we might be able to talk to someone and see if they can trace it to somewhere that's not the corpse. I don't know if this is a thing, but I think in theory, with what I know about magic.
Yeah,
I believe that's what, Scry?
It sounds
Yeah.
like
Scry is like a 5th level spell.
Yeah, the concept
I'm not
of
saying we can do it.
the concept of utilizing body parts for like identifying people is somewhat uncommon, but various high-level religious sects as well as arcane circles utilize it. But like Albert said, scrying is a high-level spell, so not many people do it. You utilize it.
But you know who specializes in blood magic?
We do know. I know this person. I know a person.
Maybe.
But that would involve blowing our cover, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, we already gave her a story. It'd be weird if you asked her something like that.
I was more hoping that we could ask either Oathmaker or Theodore. I forget what his last name was.
Weinmore.
Weinmore?
Weinmore. Or Weinmore.
The H is a bit silent. That's Weinmore.
Okay. We can ask maybe
like
ask Mr. Weinmore.
But there's an E. It's Whine, isn't it?
Yeah, Weinmore.
Which makes it an I.
Weinmore? Yeah, I guess you're right.
We might also consult. Maybe the library has some kind of like records on this excommunication because they are kind of like in the light about these things. We could try to ask the one detective lady again, I know I don't want to like keep her in this, but she's probably a person in the know about how we need to go about getting this investigation.
Another
rolling
thing
again.
Another thing that I think you guys would know about is that there is an oversight regulatory commission for this. It's called the Religious Consult for the public government. Essentially, it's an office. It's sort of an elected office of some religious person who reviews all these things, like they're a public official.
All what things specifically?
All religious groups, and they review whether or not they're a threat to the public. And
do they have like records of excommunications? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that if because Velma mentioned it quite heavily about how they're in compliance. Yeah, that's also something that you guys potentially could also look at.
Would we know if these files are available to the public?
I think it's. I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily anything available to the public, but it's definitely public record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. There's also the route of what you guys are talking about, convincing someone in the Primordial Truth to tell you about it.
I think public records are probably
safer.
Yeah, public records are definitely the safer way to go first. I still think it's worth checking to see if there is anybody who might know scrying that we could potentially commission on behalf of the SRC to search.
We'd have to get some of their body parts.
Well,
too.
yeah, but the first question is, I'd rather not go through the hassle of trying to find somebody's body parts first. Yeah,
fair enough.
It's easier to pose a question to Oathmaker saying, "Hey, do we have the resources to do this?" Like first.
All right, that sounds we should probably.
So 2 things then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna ask about the scrying.
Yep.
And ask about the public records.
Yeah, maybe he can get access to it for us, and then just give us the information.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's able to access the records from the Religious Review Board. It's he would probably be able to access if they have records. Like, I'm sure they would have records of people that would have needed to be excommunicated or like troublesome individuals. So it might be a good place to start. Like just looking at people who, people or groups that have had to be investigated for odd dealings. Like maybe see if they have notes on what practices they had been investigated for, and see if there's anything that lines up with what we're seeing with the murders.
To see if even the person who was excommunicated for that reason. Okay. So how are we doing this?
Well, you have to just ask for the documents. Because are we meeting? We have a ways to contact Oathmaker.
Presumably.
I think we have a meeting with him in 2 days.
Yeah, I feel like we need.
Yeah, I assume we have a way to contact our handler.
Yeah. And you guys are looking for what? I was writing notes because I had to. Yeah.
Scrying.
To see if the SRC has access to someone who'd be able to perform a scrying spell, were we to find a way to procure deceased person's body parts, like to see if the SRC knows anyone, because I mean it's a large organization, so in theory we might have.
You guys might know. Like you guys have various contacts throughout the SRC, independent of actual people. So like you might know someone from your past.
Do I know someone?
You could. I mean,
I might know someone.
I think it's safe to assume that we could do some sort of role here.
Just odds to see if we happen to know a person.
Yeah. Okay. Tell you what. I think Frog is the one that most likely to do this. So let's do a D100. You have to get above 70. Frog gets a plus 30. I think Fern's gonna get a plus 10, and then Malmira's gonna get a plus 20.
But I went to school for magic. I went to university.
I guess you're right.
Ooh, no, that's a 16. Oh no, that's a 19. High roll and
okay. I'm gonna say 20 for Don too as well, for Snaps.
I rolled a solid 80.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. Snaps knows. Snaps familiar with someone that last you heard.
Is that an 80?
They're attending. They're attending.
Oh wait, did I reverse it?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an 8.
8.
Fucking. I forget how it works. Wow,
Yeah,
none
right.
of us rolled above a 20 then, Alan.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I always. Well, this is the double zeros, which I associate with like adding the double zeros rather than it being 08.
It's
I
800.
hate
800.
I hate how D100s work.
They're a little funky, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, none of us know jack shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Really good at rolling.
Well, then we just have to ask Oathmaker to see if he knows anybody in the entirety of the SRC that can do this.
Yep.
Are you guys gonna wait 2 days?
I mean,
There's-
we
we-
have a
you-
way.
Well, we asked to find a way to contact him like now.
And you said yes.
Oh,
We do have a way, and then
Okay,
Yeah.
can walk into the SRC office. I don't know if you guys want to do that.
I mean,
well, I didn't realize that was the only way. I didn't. Do we like he sent something to us? Do we have Can we send him a letter? Can we send him a telewrit?
Yeah, you guys want to do that? I'm sure that can be done. Yeah, you can send a message.
It's just if we wait 2 days,
people's lives are at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's not super pressing, but I don't want to role play 2 days of dead air. I guess is the
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah, you can send a message.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever means to get in contact if it works, we just. get
As
in
long as they're
contact with
covert,
them.
still is the problem.
Yeah, we just request a meeting like we had the other day.
We didn't request a meeting with him though.
Well, we just request them to
Yeah,
meet
we
with us.
rescheduled another one,
Yeah.
but
So you want to meet him in person?
No, we don't need to meet him in person.
Well, the reason why is because Albert said reschedule the meeting, and I'm like, what? I thought you were just sending a word to him.
I just want to send a message and be like, do we have can we have someone do a scry? Is it possible that we have somebody who can do a scrying spell on really old body parts?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we just. Yeah, I guess we just send them a message requesting things then. So it would be that and the documents from the
the public.
religious
public
review
record.
board.
Are we
Yeah.
going to wait on him to give those to us, or are we going to do some research too?
I guess if we have access to it, I guess we could do it on our own tomorrow.
If we were to try to do that, what would we have to do?
To get into the public records area, just go in and request documents. I don't think there's necessarily a. There's the public records. You just go in, you fill in a form to request documents. I suppose you could come up with a cover that makes it more that makes it more official that you could do it. But but the way that Oathmesh public records work, you kind of just anyone can request documents. They just got to fill out the form for it.
Malmira would have a good reason.
Yeah, you guys could come up with a cover for it. I don't know.
I mean, his cover story already kind of aligns with it. He's setting up fairgrounds and stuff, but he could be assessing the safety of the area to make sure that the people that he's coming in with would be safe to practice, to make sure that there is no... maybe you'd heard rumors on the street about...
Yeah, or maybe you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or something like that.
I was just trying to keep it in line with our current cover stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, we can just do that tomorrow then.
Isn't it only 4 p.m.?
I don't know.
It's
It sounds
dinner
like
time.
you told us. It sounded like you were telling us it was the end of the day.
We left Velma's place as she was about to eat dinner.
I was thinking lunch, but yeah, it would be.
Okay.
Let's say it's 5 p.m. It was 5 p.m. when you guys finished with Velma, so it's 7ish. When you guys finish up your talkings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So government offices can be open past 7.
Yeah. So. You send the message off to go to Oathmaker. I'm assuming you're doing a personal courier rather than a telewrit.
Yeah,
more.
I guess.
Yeah, because I think that's probably going to be a bit more secure than sending a public line or just a random message in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you send the message to the courier with the courier, a letter that's sealed.
Who is sending this letter? I assume all three of us aren't going to do this. It just might be important. I have a feeling that it could potentially be intercepted, or somebody sees us send the letter. Who's sending the letter?
And also, what does it say?
I guess I could send it personally
Okay.
if that's what you're asking.
I'm just asking who's sending the letter. Just because in theory this could come back to bite us, because Alan has been kind of skirting around it as if it is going to come back to bite us. So it's more of a covering our bases of who's sending the letter. Therefore, if it does come back to bite us, we have the plausible deniability of, Well,
I don't
only
know.
one person sent the letter.
I don't know if we necessarily need to put our names on it. If we just...
Who is physically going to the courier and handing him the letter and can be seen in public?
I mean, I can just disguise one of us.
Yeah, that works. I can do that
It's
too.
pretty easy.
I mean, we're trying to be covert.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, this is important. I mean,
Yeah, I can cast... I can cast Disguise Self and
oh,
just look
dude.
like
Hell yeah.
a random person I've seen today.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. That's the thing
Ooh.
I was looking for. You guys are just saying I send the message, and I'm like, that's jumping a lot of steps. All right, so Malmira disguised self writes the letter. Any idea what you want to put into it? I'm assuming that you are going to be like not you like you said you don't want to put your name on it, but like what are you going to write in it? Just kind of give me broad strokes. You don't need to say verbatim, but you're requesting that you want to know someone that can cast scrying.
Yeah, just know if that's a resource that's available to us.
Okay.
If we can have someone...
Specifically onto an old body part.
Yeah.
Onto old material. Phrase it as that.
Yeah. Okay. And is that it?
Yeah, I think that's all we're asking for.
Okay.
And because we're doing the investigation
Okay.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. And then what's the next order? What's the next thing you guys want to do?
Well, it's gonna have to wait until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the evening passes. The three of you go about your business. I don't know if you want to, what else you guys want to do, but we should roll the cover quest roll now, because this will be
Cover.
yeah.
I got in my deception.
I think I went to classes in the morning again.
Yeah,
didn't I?
yeah, you did.
Does that give me advantage or?
I believe it gives you. We have done it that it gives you advantage.
I got a 12.
I got a 26.
9.
All right.
There's definitely an assassin.
Contes. Yep, there's definitely an assassin now. All right, so the evening passes. The three of you go about your business. The next day arises, and what do you guys want to do? Do you guys kind of let me know how you guys want to go about the investigation?
Do we have a way of seeing if our message was received? Do we get anything back on that?
Yeah. They would have sent a message back. You probably it's probably like a public record. It's like a post office dealio. So you essentially just send a message from there. You disguise self again to get back in there. You go in and claim your message, and it says, "Yes, we'll need sample and approximately half a day to send to lab." So it sounds like they have someone, and the way it, so they do have someone to work with, and he probably, he puts an address to lab, and says needs about half a day.
Okay.
And the address is in Oadmesh. It's in one of the, it looks, you're not familiar with what the region is, but you assume it's probably some sort of like hospital person. Place.
It would be like we need to find something, which is the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like we have that resource available. We could have someone scry some sort of material, but the issue is if we can find any. I'm sure it's all buried or burnt or disposed of in whatever way at this point.
The poetry.
The poetry might, maybe.
Would that work?
I
There might be like hair or...
I'm good at magic, but I don't know how to cast that particular spell, so
Well,
I'm not familiar with the specifics.
We don't have any of the physical poetry anymore. We gave it back. Although now that I think about it,
Don't we have her address?
do we?
I don't believe you ever got her address.
This is kind of a long shot, but I wonder, do you remember if there was anything in the poetry about like any personal belongings? Because I could locate an object, but I need to know what it is I'm looking for. Do any of you remember if the poetry mentioned any kind of like personal belongings?
I don't think so. I think they mostly talked about celestial bodies and enlightenment.
This is also kind of a question for the DM, if there would be anything in the poetry that could help with a locate object spell.
Oh, locate object? Okay, I was looking at divination, but I'll take a look at locate object.
No, I do not have access to divination, I believe.
We're also kind of ignoring the obvious of we can just contact Weinmore and ask him to talk to Hobson and see if she can't smuggle us out a scrap of something, because there's no way they've gotten rid of all of this evidence. If we can get a single piece of any of them, then we can do it.
Yeah.
I suppose that's fair, but we'd be putting her in a lot of risk and a lot of danger. And she's trying to stay as separated as she can. It would be...
I mean, we could also just go in and get it.
Another thing with the divination aspect of it, the creature has to be alive.
For scrying?
Yeah.
Okay, that would have been important.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know until I read this.
Okay.
Yeah, you see or hear some creature, which may be any distance, subject to the will save throw, the scrying attempt plays. Essentially, they have to be able to attempt the will save. And
Now,
if
the
they're-
real question
and now if they're
is-
dead, they can't do that.
The real question is, are they considered still to be the living being if they've been used as an incubation and turned into a different living being?
I mean, are you considered your mom when you're born? Like, I think that's kind of a good analog.
Well, I think it's a better question of, if you've died and have become reanimated as a zombie, are you still considered the same person for the purpose of scrying?
What I will say is that you could divine a creature, because basically the difficulty of the check is determined by how well you know the person. So if you want to use the victims as the sort of physical or relationship connection to the whatever creature, but the thing is though is that, like, I don't know if you have to.
So what I'm trying to do, Alan, is, in theory, if these people are being used, if they have had their organs removed and these organs are being used as energy for something else, I want to know if a DNA scan were sent out like across the world, it would ping, in theory, 2 locations. It would ping the place of their actual physical remains and the location that their removed body parts are being used. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. It's weird because in no part does it say anything that I don't know. It could be translated either way. And now that you brought this up, I did not consider divination when writing this. So now I'm trying to reconcile this. Hold on.
To be clear, real fast, Alan, I'm not
lot.
intending to go to the location that it is. But if I can find that it's possible to find a location, then we can give that information to Hobson and be like, using a scrying spell or whatever this spell is, you can tell the exact location of the missing body parts.
What if we use like locate object on the person's organs?
Oh, shit.
That's within a 400 feet thing.
It's 1,000.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 feet. Like I could cast locate object, but I need to know what I'm looking for. Like I have to.
Can you cast it on someone's intestines?
You have to be familiar with the thing.
You can be familiar with intestines. You have them in your body.
Wait, Albert, are you sure? Because it says 400 feet plus 40 feet per level.
Locate object?
Yeah.
I think you're looking at a different thing. As long as that object is in 1,000 feet of you. If the object is in motion, you know the direction of its movement.
Okay. I don't know why there was alternative rules for that. Weird. It must have been a 3.5 thing.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like a 3.5 reading of that.
Describe or name an object that is... I don't know, why am I doing this in character? Describe or name an object that is familiar to you.
Yeah, it's not really familiar to us.
Like, I know I have intestines, but I don't exactly know what they look like or how I would describe them.
would you like? I can show you.
No, I'd rather not.
Would you prefer I do it? Chink.
Like, if they had, like, a personal, like, effect, like jewelry or something that might have been kept, and I knew what it looked like, I guess I could do it based off of, like, a description. Which is kind of why I was wondering if, like, maybe the poetry described any particular objects. Sometimes
poems
can be about things and describe specific things.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like they'd probably just guide us to our house.
yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is these are all the things that were taken were biomass.
Yeah,
So,
they were like specifically like burnt. So I don't know. Like there'd have to be some kind of object that would have had to been taken.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about this divination route.
So I'm gonna stand by my interpretation of scrying, and I don't. The thing is rules wise, Alan's not gonna be able to tell us whether this is gonna work or not.
Yeah, that's true.
He privately decides whether or not this would work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's a long shot. Because
Yeah.
we don't even know that they're being used.
Mm-hmm.
So us finding like a body part or something and sending it to the lab to be scryed for, it's kind of up to Alan whether or not he considers it to be like if their body parts are being converted, whether or not he considers it to be a valid use of it, or if he thinks that there's another spell that would work for it. The thing is when it comes down to it, we don't really know.
So want to try it?
I mean,
Well,
I
what-
feel like we should check the public records of the
Yeah.
religious review board first, because I feel like it has a better chance of giving us a more solid lead. And if that doesn't work, we can
No.
find body parts, I guess.
What I will say is I have looked over the rules, and while you guys are talking, I have decided how it's going to work. I'll let you guys know when you guys try to attempt it, but I figured out how it's going to work, so I know. So that
Okay.
With regards to the physical object or the scrying somebody's body part.
both. I've read
Okay.
both the rules, so I know how I'm gonna use it, but I'll let you guys know, and whether or not you guys want to roll knowledge checks at the time to figure it out. I don't.
Could we roll knowledge checks now to figure it out?
Yeah.
To see if it's even worth our time?
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like this would have been like a forethought, like, oh yeah, maybe. I
Yeah.
wonder if this will work.
Well, while you guys are talking about it, now that I know how it's gonna work, I assume your guys' characters.
I have no fucking clue.
This is Arcana, right?
Yeah.
I got a 12.
I got a 14.
I think I'll allow you to use religion because this is part of your casting ability. Yeah, because scrying and locate object are both divination class.
14.
14, and you got
14.
you guys both got 14. You guys know that both of these things target a creature, so and both of them have to have some aspect of knowing the thing in question. So even though you guys know that it's made of the person, having the body part will help you find it. But unless you can identify what it is or like roughly what type of creature or what you're thinking of, then there's no there's no anchor point for you guys to actually look for it. But that's what you guys need to identify. If you guys can get some rough idea of what it is, then it'll be much easier for you to attempt it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but-
it is possible.
Yeah, and
just-
rules wise for like a locate object, basically you by having the for scrying, by having the body part, it makes it much easier, like
Right.
infinitely much easier.
But even if we have it, we still need to know what exactly it is we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that we immediately go into the police station and steal evidence. Yeah. I'm just saying like me putting ideas out there is simply putting all the ideas out
Yeah.
there to see what might possibly work at any given point in time.
Now that I think about it, and the records that we have for the cases, like the two investigators, right? Does their case files list any personal effects that were missing?
Oh, that's a good point.
You look over it looking for specifically that information. I don't think so, but I think it's as There's not something I thought of, but I'm gonna say that since you are looking for something that for like a personal effect of a missing victim, I think that I'm gonna roll because I didn't think about this beforehand. I'm gonna roll twice, D4, and you're looking for
Like,
four.
what I'm thinking is that it could be something small, like maybe a ring or something that maybe like the murderer could have taken without noticing.
Ned, it doesn't see any. There's no like detailed records of missing personal effects. It was a while ago, and their families probably would have cleared up a lot of other stuff and claimed stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, not that you can tell. So, do you guys have your course of action? Like it's early in the morning. How do you guys strike out for the day?
I think we're just going to go look at the public records, right?
Yeah.
Are we all going? or is it just some of us?
I can't think of anything else we'd do right now.
I mean, the only person who really has a good reason to go in there is you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
The other thing would be maintaining cover.
Yeah. I could also like this you once again disguise some the people who don't really have a place in there, and we can say we are your assistants.
Yeah, we can just go.
I mean, we don't all need to be there.
You wanna go to your seminar, huh?
I can maintain my cover.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? That's fine. I'll get started on my makeup then. And
Yeah, I'm not
Sorry.
very good at the whole reading through really boring government documents kind of thing, so I could appreciate some help.
that's why you've hired an assistant.
Yeah.
I'm not good at either of those things. I'm good at magic.
All right.
All right. So I guess I'll spend however much time. How much time do you think I'll need, like, to do this, like, pretty succinctly?
Oh, make a disguise kit.
Well, apply like
Oh
a
yeah,
disguise.
yeah. 30 minutes if you're wanting to just kind of put it slap together. An hour if you want to get it done right.
I'd say we have an hour.
Yeah, I don't think we're really in a
All right,
rush.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so is there any specific rules for the disguise kit? If not, we're just gonna go with that. It gives you a plus. It gives you advantage.
Mm-hmm. I just
On
So
dis- on-
it's
yeah, on
I
disguise.
just don't want it to be like, yeah, that's Frog right there walking into the library or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. You guys do yourself up. You have creative direction on this. How do you dress Malmira up as?
Well, I mean, Malmira doesn't need a disguise.
Oh.
It's just me.
Oh, just you. Okay.
I am their assistant.
You put on an old person face, or do you kind of like spaz it up,
Uh,
like jazz it all?
I jazz it up and maybe I give myself like a mohawk and I don't know, like some scars, and I look really like rough.
Oh, like an adventure, like more of a grizzled adventurer than
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So so that way someone will be like, no, there's no way that those two people are the same person. It's just drastically different.
Okay.
Maybe like a fake tattoo. So like, oh yeah, she had a snake tattoo on her
Yeah.
shoulder. And then if they come to me and like,
Wouldn't that make you stand out
I mean,
in a government building?
I guess so. All right. We'll go with.
Yeah, you can still do that and do the lawyer with the ripped off.
Yeah,
the
I'm
ripped
Big
off.
B,
like
but I'm
it's
small. I'm Little B.
it's like a lawyer wearing a regular suit. But you ever seen that commercial with the
Oh,
guy
yeah.
rips the arms off?
Yeah, that's Big B.
Yeah, it's
Well,
that.
There's billboards for a guy around here
Yeah.
who looks like that, and it's so good.
Yeah, it's like the biker lawyer. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're going in looking like the biker lawyer. I
Yeah.
love it.
I think his slogan is that he's not a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so maybe we'll take out the mohawk and we'll just do it. We'll do like a secretary bun, but I'll still keep the tattoo.
But what if it's still a mohawk with the secretary? No.
Nah.
Yeah, what
no.
if it's like a mohawk into a secretary bun?
Then we're sticking
and you
out
have
way
like
too
like
much.
really classy gauges.
I don't know where I'm gonna find gauges at a time like this.
Also, that you're also implying that Frog has gauges.
Frog does not have gauges.
Okay. All right. Let's jump forward into this.
Snap studs.
So yeah, you guys head on over to the public records office. I mean the government office. There's only really one big government office center in this region, and it's near that castle, the fort that I was talking about. On the outskirts of it, there's various offices. Malmira, you are somewhat familiar with the district. You've been here once or twice, but only really for court. And you know the general layout, and you kind of see one of those map things, and you make your way to the public records office, and there's a sort of a area you go into. Is a waiting room with with like a desk that's behind one of those like bars. You know what I mean? It's like to just protect the person. And there's a gnome person that kind of sees you guys come in. The place is empty. The both of you walk in. And there's a guard that kind of just takes a look at you, gives you a nod as you walk by. He's sort of sitting on a stool, and you make your way into the public records request office. And he says, "Oh, hello. How can I help? We don't get many people coming in here. Oh,
Yes, hi. The name's Malmira, and this is my assistant.
hello.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, okay.
I'm here requesting some documents from the.
You're pretty close to the mic, Albert.
I'm here requesting some documents from the religious review board.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I was just looking into any excommunications or any investigations that have been opened on religious sects recently. Just kind of looking into. I've heard some unsettling rumors recently about certain religious groups kind of going over the top, and we're organizing a festival here within the next few weeks, and I just wanted to look into those.
His eyes are starting to glaze over, and he's like, I need to write all of this on the form. There's a pen over there, and he gives you he goes through a little filing cabinet, grabs a piece of form, write it all on there. I'll send it over, and we'll get those records pulled for you.
And then it hard cuts to Fern.
Yeah.
Or to Snaps. You're
Yeah.
like, Mina, I'm so excited, talking to the rat in her pocket. Mina, I'm so excited to go to this. Also, I'm really excited because we got a raid from James Chats. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello,
Thank you, guys.
everyone.
Hello, welcome. Sorry for the brief pause there. We were in the middle of a role play one, and I just had to cut it off briefly so we could acknowledge you guys. Welcome, hello everyone. James Chats, what were you playing today? Tell us about it. Were you doing some more villainous today? Is that what was in the plans? I've also seen you doing some.
Gandhi
Coaster
says.
Tycoon, right?
Ooh.
Oh, he did Planet Coaster.
Planet
I
Coaster.
only saw him do that once. Otherwise, I've been seeing him do Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Gandhi says, "Welcome to Dungeons and Bureaucracy." Unfortunately, this has become a little bit of Dungeons and Bureaucracy.
Final score 1-1. Nice.
Everyone wins.
Shit.
And hello, welcome to the. Thanks for the follow, Lady Hale. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Or Haleth.
I don't know
Sorry.
if you can hear if your headphones on, but the neighbor's sanding random crap.
Oh
again.
yeah.
These mics don't pick it up. Thank God.
God.
I know, but my ears do, and it's driving me a little nuts.
James S is playing
Ooh.
Villainous, playing Beauty and the Beast Game Boy game, which was
Oh, that's awesome.
was mwah. I read that. I read that, but I was like, my brain was trying to interpret if there was a Game Boy game called Chef's Kiss.
Can you
Yes,
imagine?
I play the game called.
It inspired Cooking Mama. The game lacked
Awesome.
the main complaint about the game was that the game didn't have a face that you could actually kiss. So then they gave it Cooking Mama. It's like, you kiss Cooking
You kiss
Mama's
the cooking
face.
mama.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast game.
She has the kiss the mama apron. To kiss the cook.
Nice though. Interesting. Did you also find a way to have chat play with that with you as well? Kind of like Mario Party. Interesting. That's really interesting. No, Gonties, no. So for those of you who are in our channel hanging out here and you don't know James Chats is a really cool person. He's a really sweet dude. I like hanging out in his stream when I can. Just ban myself. He does a lot of villainous with his chat, so it's like a Disney card game. I've watched you play it several times, and I still don't entirely know how it works, but that's probably because I'm distracted. Really cool, really interactive dude. You guys should give him a follow if you haven't already been over to his channel. I really like hanging out there, like I said. Yeah, he's the best. Well, as competition technically in the Streamiverse, we're friends anyways. I don't care. But those of you who are just coming in from James Chat's channel, we're blanket term group stream, variety stream. For the record, times are weird. We all live together, so I promise we're being safe. You also be safe out there. And if you want to check out our stuff, you can visit our site. But we're doing D&D right now. Watch him play Villainous for probably a month now. I still don't really understand. See, okay, I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I was really worried that I'm the only one that just doesn't understand.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with board games, right? It's one of the things where you kind of have to somewhat know the game before when you get into it, or else you're just going to be confused. Especially when we play games and we don't explain the rules as we're doing them.
Yeah. Well, James does a really good job of explaining what's happening as it's all going.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about card games, my brain glazes over sometimes. It is what it is, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, I figured we'd also take this opportunity since we're about halfway through to take a brief break as we're chatting.
Gandhi says, I'm pretty sure I have no idea how to play Pandemic. Yeah.
To be fair, I still have no idea how to play Pandemic, and we've beaten seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You eat the cubes and you win.
Yeah. You just munch on the plastic. Just
Don't
munch
eat the
on it.
cubes.
They're jubes. The jubes are mostly wax anyway. It's whatever.
Yeah. That's always nice when they make the packaging out of something slightly edible.
I'm talking about the candy itself.
Like those it's like those cheese with the wax over it. You just bite into it. Just
Oh, the candy coated shell.
Yeah.
No!
And then you gotta and then you gotta pull the piece of paper out. That's about it.
You eat the wax on Baby Bell cheese?
No, he does. Do you?
Or do I?
I don't know. I know there's some in the fridge sometimes.
Not anymore.
Thanks for that, James. We really appreciate it. Sorry, I've just found out that one of my roommates is a monster.
I don't. It's just funny to think about.
Alright.
Just going to the fridge and just pulling a piece of like red circle
Wax.
and just
It's just a big cheese M&M.
yeah.
Ugh. Welcome to Blake a term where we eat cheese with wax so you don't have to.
Ugh.
But thanks for the lurk, guys. Thanks for the lurk, James Chats. We really appreciate it. Tricks and Pebbles says, though, that they were the opposite. My sis GF and I tried playing it. I had no idea how to play, but since watching James, I get it now. That's awesome. Some people learn by watching. I learned better by doing personally.
Yeah, me too. That's how I am.
Yeah. But for that, we did a brief detour. Do we want to get back to the...
Yeah, real quick. We already said the president was being with Snaps. What is the name of the lecture you're in right now?
The name of the lecture specifically?
Yeah, because I'm going to improv a little bit of Mr. Master
Frankfort Franklin.
Yeah, Mr. Frankfort Franklin, giving you some insights into being an adventurer.
You?
Yeah, it's parrying in you, and he's talking about the finer points of like how to dodge better using an actual sword rather than like a rapier.
He's just throwing wrenches at you.
Snaps. No. This is like a lecture. He's like giving a lecture.
Oh, you're
it's
throwing
not
wrenches at
one-on-one.
him.
Yeah, he has a whiteboard and he has like a stick person drawn and a wrench being thrown and like talking about force and he's actually doing math.
Yeah, I love it. And at this point, like Snaps was really excited to be here. But as he's done all this math, she's like, I'm not smart enough for this, and has started to like zone out. But Mina's sticking out of her pocket, like really excited, looking at the whiteboard.
Yeah, and she has like a little pencil too, and she's writing notes.
Yeah, my rat's writing notes. Also, Gaunties, I thought you didn't like puns. Look, we've corrupted the man. Look at this poor man.
I think he's pretending to laugh. Like
He's going insane is what's happening.
Finer points.
He's
going insane.
All right,
Michelle.
so
Let's jump. Husk of the man.
Let's jump back to the public records office. So we cut, and Malmira looks like he like has faced a couple dragons, and he turns in the form, and he says, and the guy says, "Whoa, it looks like everything's squared away here. I'll expedite this, and I'll run it on up, and I'll get a couple of my boys looking for these records, huh?"
Yeah, sure.
Yes. If it does, it's gonna take about like 2 hours. But unless you want to help, we're always a bit short-staffed here in the records office.
Yes, sure.
All
I'll
right,
help.
let's go.
All right.
Follow me. Just be mindful of the stacks of food. The loose leaf papers always get thrown around. You see, we only get 2 people for the whole quarter, and it's just hard to keep up with everything. The last one almost died by getting suffocated by the papers.
Oh, joy.
Should we have signed a waiver before going in here?
Oh, if you die, then they're probably not gonna really do much about it. So
I see. They're just gonna leave us in here to rot.
I mean, maybe.
They don't even fish out the bodies.
There are some corners of this office I haven't been to, and I've been here for 2 years.
Somewhere in one of the piles of paper, you hear a hungry grumble.
Got some Count of Monte Cristo going on.
Why is there a sign that says "Beware the leopard"?
That was there when I came here. I'll let you know. I've heard growls. Have not seen a leopard though.
Okay.
Great.
Pair of eyes that you see in the piece of paper blink out of existence.
All right. So you guys take some time. He takes you to the record room. You see another guy there that looks like he's just doing some filings. And roll me an investigation check with advantage because this dude's helping you out.
Yeah, dude. Are we? It's just Malmira, right? Or is this?
Yeah. Well, you can both roll because I'm
okay.
just gonna get this out of the way.
Do we wait? We both have advantage, or is this?
That's a 16.
Yeah, we both have advantage.
Oh, okay.
Roll to navigate bureaucracy.
Yep.
I got a 17.
Nice. Malmira got a
16.
16. Okay, cool. You guys get roughly in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
So while looking through the records of the churches, just in general, they're kind of all like put together and like they're binded together almost by church section. But the guy like points to and says, "Oh well, if I remember correctly, there's some recently unfiled ones over here." And he kind of like helps you navigate the records office, and the records office is fairly well put together, but it looks like a lot of things aren't really put where they're supposed to, and he's kind of but this guy has the mind of a whip, and he remembers where pieces of paper are that where they shouldn't be.
Oh, it's like
So,
me in my drawers.
Yeah, it's like when your mom comes into your room and you're like, "No, that's there because I put it there."
Organized chaos.
Yeah, it's organized chaos, and he helps you navigate it. You guys quickly find the Temple of Primordial Truth's record logs, and it looks like this whole it's a fairly thinner binder than the other more established churches because it was made more recently, and you also get a bunch of loose leaf papers. While skimming through it, there's the litany of various threats to the public that they've been assessing, just in terms of whether or not their faith is advocating violence, and of course there was a lot of references to disputes between leadership of the Primordial Truth and other churches, specifically in regards to them considering the Primordial Truth devil worshippers because they did have the texts of evil religions and historically problematic religions. So they've been, the other members of the religious community have been kind of on a witch hunt for the Primordial Truth, but every single time they've been cleared by whoever the religious consult was. Going through more of the records and looking and honing in specifically on the excommunications that happened in and around 4 years ago, you see reference to blood magic, and it's a report filled out by the religious consult of the time by the name of Ulysses Fortworth. And as you guys are reviewing the document, and you hear the little assistant guy go, "Oh, this one was filled out by Ulysses Fortworth. It's here." He kind of gives you the piece of paper. "I think this is what you're looking for in terms of the excommunication, right?"
Yeah, sure. Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, his handwriting ain't none for well, but here it is. This here reports about some one Lamas Chris O'Neill getting excommunicated 4 years ago, and he gives you the piece of paper, and it does indeed say Lamar Chris O'Neill getting excommunicated for his relationship in a human experimentation thing conducted off record. Frog, you kind of remember that Velma also said that this was informal and that they were experimenting on other acolytes and other religious folk. And in the text it says, and in sort of the body of the whole report, it's kind of a dense document with a whole investigation dealio, and it looks like it looks like Fort Worth was very thorough in this investigation. And it says Lamar Chris O'Neill was investigated for human experimentation in relationship to a project underneath Lau Pickerson, a bishop of the Temple of Primordial Truth. They were conducting experiments on local flora and fauna, and specifically attempting to recreate, crossbreed certain species. And the result of the experiments was inconclusive and shut down by the religious consult. Temple of Primordial Truth scrubbed records in house, and Lau Pickerson was acquitted for not having any. Was investigated and no relation found for Lamal Chris O'Neill's actions. Fellow conspirators Zarlo Batwing committed suicide. Marlon Kane also excommunicated, but later acquitted as an unaffiliated party. Yeah. So from the sounds of it, just going over it, it looks like this research team was headed out by Lau. But Lamar was the only one that was actively trying to do the human experimentation part of it. And Marlon Kane was was assumed to be an associate, but later on, after more investigation, was kind of pardoned. Zarlo committed suicide, and Cain is now currently working in the cardinal branch of the Primordial Truth Temple.
Cain is the guy that was tried and
was
then
suspected
he's found
and then found innocent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's O'Neill is the guy.
Yeah, O'Neill's the one that's been excommunicated.
Okay.
Does it say what he did? What happened to him after he was excommunicated?
No, the piece of paper was filed that incentivized. I guess I wouldn't really say what happened to him afterwards. I think you can kind of make assumptions of what happens when someone gets excommunicated. They leave the church. They have to leave the city. So
Well, they don't have to leave the city.
yeah, well, the document kind of ends at the excommunication.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say what products were created as a result of this.
It does, but a lot of it looks redacted. Like the paperwork, the actual report is blacked out a bit. But just kind of looking at it and kind of your passive insights in terms of what type of things are redacted. You hear a lot of references to experimentation on flora and fauna and crossbreeding and attempting to incorporate new hybrids into religious rituals. Yeah.
Does it say where they were experimenting?
Yeah, in the Primordial Truth Temple itself.
Oh, okay.
And then in there it also states that in the middle of the investigation, the acolytes, Lamar Zarlo, scrubbed their lab.
The whole
lab. So a lot of the evidence was destroyed, but they were still able to get them on the fact that they were experimenting. The details of which are still a bit unknown, and the religious consult chose to shut it down and cease further investigation simply because it's dark arts, and shutting it down was the purpose of what the consult's for. They're not supposed to investigate and figure out exactly everything, but they just shut it down. And the Primordial Truth was cooperative in shutting it down once they found out what Lamar was doing. Yeah, and it does cite what's her name?
Hobson?
No, Matilda Taproot.
Oh.
It cites her as Bishop Taproot in the documents. It seems like she was still heading up the temple during this time 4 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Her motivation in ceasing the investigation probably has more to do with her knowing that it might have something to do with the church then.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Wait, I'm not here.
Yeah, but you guys can assume that.
Yeah.
Any other specific aspects about this thing you want to look about? Because there are a bit more documents. I just don't want to.
I mean, it matches with what we heard from the church, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Velma said as much.
All right, then we have a name, so let's see if we can find, while we're here, find the whereabouts of this Lamar.
Lamar.
I think that's the.
Is he the one that was excommunicated?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the lead we have so far. So let's see if we can find out what happened to him.
Yeah, he has no affiliation with the church, and the only reason why they know where Marlon is because she's still a part of the church.
Do we? We're in a government public
records office. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can
Like
we roll an investigation of some kind to try to track down where Lamar is,
Or maybe where he lived.
or what happened to him?
Yeah, and he says, "Well, hold on, you're gonna have to sign another form, unless, of course, this is something that my predecessor told me about them bribes." Looking around, no.
You can just sign the form.
All right, I'll get the form. It's fine.
Does it look like we have money?
I mean, Mr. Fancy Pants over here kind of looks like he have something, but
He looks like the kind of man who might have bought some toast.
yeah. But you know what? It's fine. I'm not one to be a criminal, so I guess I'll just go get that form. But let me go take you we'll just do this in reverse order. You guys look, I'll go get the form. He says the records for the citizens of Oldmesh and the is over in the housing and tax intersection, which is upstairs. Come follow me. And he starts leading you upstairs into the housing the housing records in terms of like tenants and like all like copies of all the contracts where people live, and it's just a whole slog to get through that. You guys spend probably about like during the records of the church, it probably took you guys about like an hour and a half. Going through the housing records is probably gonna take you a little bit longer.
It's fine.
Yeah, but so you guys spend a whole like half day just investigating this shit. I
reckon if we can, I want to say this on like a hush tone. Like if we can figure out where he lived, maybe we can use the scrying magic on him.
Maybe, yeah. All right.
Because he might not have kept the name.
For the sake of us being able to finish the rest of this without being bothered, now that he's out of the room, the clerk. Yeah. Now the clerk is out of the room, I'm going to use my channel divinity to create an illusion of myself to go meet him back at the front. Oh, but you're not. No, that won't work because I came with you. You'd ask where you were. All right, never
He would
mind.
see you leave afterwards, and he'd be like, I thought you already left.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be leaving without him, so he'd know, oh, this guy's leaving without his friend. I should go track down where his friend is, so it doesn't really help.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say that you guys find this because it's less. It's a dense in a different way in terms of you just gotta like get
menial
stuff. Yeah.
All right.
It's menial and it's not like trying to read and try to find connections between different reports, right?
Yeah, we're not analyzing literary intent.
Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to find an address, which is a lot simpler than trying to find intent behind numerous reports and like various sources. Okay, so you guys find an address for Lamar Chris O'Neill, and you guys take it among yourselves to also look up the other acolytes, Zarlo and Marlon Kane.
Oh yeah, sure.
Zarlo was the one who committed suicide shortly during the investigation. Gives an address to that. Marlon Kane is the one that's at the Cardinal branch. And Lamar Chris O'Neill, last known address was in the Market District, in the same place that the Temple of the Primordial Truth was. After he was excommunicated, moved northward on top of the cliff, a little bit outside of the city, to work on a farm. That was his last known address. That was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Is there any mention of him in like obituaries or anything?
No.
None.
Okay, so as far as we know, he's still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
And in this case, farming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Farming his crops.
Yeah.
Crop.
Oh, you also look up Lau Pickerson, the person that was in charge.
The head, yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, it dawns on you that the name's a bit different, but you realize that when looking up the name, you don't find a Lau Pickerson. You find, or not. I really should have changed the name here because I wrote down in parentheses and I read the wrong one. In the records of the religious consult, in the religious consult report, it actually reads Lau Hummerman. But when you're looking for records, the only thing you can find is Lau Pickerson, who strikes you as a name because she's one of the victims. Victim number 13.
The most recent one.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a connection there, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So it definitely feels like we're on some kind of track here.
So, just for clarification, what precisely how much do we have to present to Hobson for it to be enough?
It's really arbitrary. I kind of feel like it's sort of you have to convince, have some sort of proof, and I think this is getting close. But there's no like smoking gun, so to speak.
I mean, at this rate, we may or may not have just found the murderer, which could be very dangerous.
Yeah, we've got we don't necessarily have motive because I don't know. I mean, the motive, if it is O'Neill, it's like, to continue his research. The most recent one was probably revenge.
The argument for us presenting this case, I'm gonna assume we meet together and we're discussing
Yeah.
this at this point.
We-
Yeah, you guys
we-
leave the
we
records
found everything we
office.
need to know.
Yeah, you guys are probably up in your room again. You guys are all talking inside of the hotel.
When you guys come back into the room, Snaps is definitely messing around with her rapier and trying to do the things.
Do the dodge.
Do the dodge. And you can see like Mina is like sitting on like I envision there being a TV in this room,
Yeah.
like and sitting on top of like this CRT with like a little notepad, being like. Like trying to like direct
Trying to indirect Ratatouille you.
well, trying to teach me what Mina learned in her notes.
She's like jumping from the one bed. She's doing like a really tight barrel roll and landing on the other bed.
So
Yeah.
I guess the argument that we have if we present it is we've found a potential motive and we've connected that motive to a previous events that are on record, and we've been able to connect a potential suspect with one of the victims and the victim to the motive. So
Yeah, precisely.
that's
And we've got pretty big reason as to why two of the new homicide review board members would just want to axe it.
right. One of the homicide review board members are connected with that motive. So that seems like a lot, to be honest.
I mean, what we've really found is a whole new lead here.
Yeah.
Like we know a person who may or may not be connected, not necessarily directly. I guess the one missing link here though is these victims to the purpose. We're kind of like missing the direct link between them and. We know that this dude, what's his name again?
O'Neill?
That O'Neill was like doing human experimentation, and the time for his experimentation lines up pretty directly when there were the most people being murdered, and then in the last 2 years, the murders have stopped. And in the last 2 years, he moved to a farm, like pretty far away from what had originally been going on. I guess the real missing link that we do still need is proof or more of an evidence that these bodies are being used for this purpose. Like the one that we have is that it looks similar.
It looks similar, but the art. It
But
does
is that
look
enough?
similar, but is that enough? I mean, we have a connection with one of the victims. That could be the link we need.
Yeah, just the connection between one of the victims and this dude. But like, it feels like a major oversight if during the homicide research process, they didn't investigate one of the close people to one of the victims, unless they weren't close.
Well,
They
but-
worked together, but
like a long time ago, though.
I guess.
well,
Looking over the victim list, she wasn't listed as working for the Temple of Primordial Truth. During the investigation, you guys looked over the victim records. Lau Pickerson, as she's now known because she wasn't married when she worked for the Primordial Truth, she's a college lecturer of theology at Whistleworth Sentinel Academy, whereas in the past she was known as Lau Hummerman, who worked for the Temple of Primordial Truth 4 years ago.
so I mean, if she had been excommunicated and found another job, then that
I mean,
connection.
she wasn't excommunicated.
But she could have left.
She could have. Yeah. For example, she could have left during that intervening time, and if she had left, then that connection wouldn't have been obvious.
I suppose so.
So it's possible this might have just been overlooked. My inclination is to say the link with the victim to.
Should we have a meeting with Weinmore?
That's not a bad
It
idea.
couldn't hurt.
And just tell us, like, hey, this is the information that we have. Is this enough?
I agree, because I feel like if we went to the house of the potential murderer, I feel like that might be overstepping our bounds.
That's also really dangerous.
It's also dangerous.
I agree. We're not cops.
Wait, you guys are given free reign, right?
Yes, but we're also.
But we were also told to find evidence to reopen the investigation, not to solve the case.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
if we were
right.
told to solve the case, we'd be like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
But we were told,
Yeah.
get evidence to reopen. So I guess that would be overstepping our bounds if we were to just solve the case.
Yes, because part of the implication of why we're doing this is, what's her face?
Hobson?
Hobson still wants the case to be solved by the murder review board and not by us. Because if we did it, it would make
It's
them look
vigilante
bad.
justice.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's not vigilante justice. We are with the SRC.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
Fair.
they don't want to look bad. So,
Yeah.
Uh,
We don't want to take their jobs.
so yeah.
Yeah. Let's ask him.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading notes in chat at the same time. You guys are talking to who next?
Theodore.
Okay.
Yeah. Talking
yeah.
to Theodore and see if we can present
Margaritaville guy.
Yeah.
present
So
this information to him and see if
so-
that's enough.
you guys head to the bar.
We have to talk to the barkeep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk to the barkeep, and they can send a message right away via arcane means. All right, so you guys head on over to. I wrote this down, but I didn't write it. I think I wrote it. I forget where I wrote
The
it
White
down.
Rose restaurant?
Yeah, I wrote it down right here, but
Mhm.
I didn't write it in my notes on my computer, so I'm like, oh no. So you guys go to the White Rose Distillery, a restaurant, bar, and grill. And you guys go in for lunch, and you guys talk to the bartender. This time, it's your boy, the Knoll guy, sitting by, manning the table, and he says, "Oh yes, you. I assume you need drinkers again. And what else can I do?"
We. How do we say we want to like meet with his employer?
I have a complaint and I'd like to talk to your manager.
That.
Well, see, I am manager, but if you wish to bring this up higher, I can do this. And what words would you have to say for the owner?
We need a very discreet meeting. I don't know if we can say it out here.
Yes.
Let's just say we'd like to investigate the distillery to look for contamination.
What?
We need to.
We don't want to cause a scene out here.
I want to talk to my boy.
Well, if you want, I can give you tour back.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Patricia, come take over the desk. I must give a tour. And then he kind of like gives you guys, takes you guys to the back. And
We're not very good at this espionage thing.
he gives
know
you
what he wants.
He gives a tour to the back. Once he gets to the back room, and says, "You speak in riddles. What is it you need to tell the master?"
We have really important information with regards to something that we're working with him on, and unfortunately, it needs to be only for him.
Yes. And he told me to give you priority, so yes, he's willing to meet. One moment, and he casts, and you see him wave his hands, and he casts a message spell, and then he says, All right. He says that he's willing. He can meet you in the flea market area. It's an open market. They do food. He'll be waiting for you at the shish kebab stand.
All right,
In about
sure.
an hour.
Mm-hmm.
In about 30 minutes. Is there anything else?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's
All
it.
right. May the winds be favorable.
Yeah. Finger gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. He doesn't snap. He just puts his fingers up and points at you two. Yes. All right, and then we smash cut to you guys going to the open air market. It's sort of just like a flea market area where people selling shit. A lot of secondhand stuff. It's more of an open air market in our times than in like a D&D sense with like actual like stalls. It's a lot of people just trying to like sell secondhand stuff, and open air market selling some cool stuff.
It's like a farmer's market.
Yeah, it's like a farmer's market meets like a swap meet.
Swap meet, yeah.
Yeah. But there's like open air markets, and the smell of like cooking meats and stews and stuff, and people in line. There's a whole bunch of different stands, and you see as you guys are walking around, you guys see the glint of a neon pseudo dragon, and it flies over to Snaps and like crawls around on her shoulder and starts like looking at your rat. And
Looking at Mina.
yeah.
Hello.
And
Yeah.
she kind of like cuddles with the
Yeah,
dragon.
it kind of purrs and like kind of leans into you, and then it does the thing where it snaps like a pointer dog and goes. Hmm. And then you guys, when you guys follow his lead, you see Theodore. He's like, "Hey, how's it going, everyone?" And it looks like he's wearing the same fungal print shirt, but it's a different color.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. And looks he looks like entirely out of place, but almost in place because he's a tourist. It looks like he has now acquired a fanny pack of some sort.
Oh, man. Where can
Yeah.
I get me one of those fanny packs?
Yeah, you guys sit down. He said, "Well, you see, I have this one bespokely made. Man, well, my money comes into this quite often. But if you want to see, I came across the design over in the northern plains. Apparently, they're doing some very strange things with fashion over there, but." It's neither here nor there. How can I help you guys? Shish kebab. He kind of raises his hand to the little person, to the person doing the cooking, and he puts 3 fingers up, and the person that's like has a bandana and like chopping up meats.
Oh, he's going.
Yeah, he does the whole thing. And you guys take a seat.
I like to believe that this man is wearing a Gucci fanny pack. Yeah.
You don't think we should talk somewhere more privately, don't you?
There's no one going to be listening in this crowded din. Now, you tell me, can you hear what he's saying? He points to a different table. No,
Should I
there's
roll?
just so many people. Yeah, you can roll a perception check.
I think my passive perception might be high enough to hear it.
No, if you've actually been in a crowded market like this, it's almost impossible.
My
to
passive perception is 16, though.
Yeah.
I rolled a non-nat 20.
non-nat 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lower than my passive.
Yeah, you make out a couple of
Right.
words, but with the non-nat 20, it's more of like jarbled because there's a lot of other noises.
Nice. I think we're pretty safe here.
Yeah,
fair enough, I guess.
It's a crowded din.
We found in regards to our investigation, we found a few things that
Petting the dragon.
might be a few things. I believe that's
Uh-huh.
a dolphin dog.
It's a prop.
All right, so tell me, do you have enough? I'm getting into the accent again. So tell me, did you and your associates accomplish what you needed to?
Potentially, we wanted to provide the information to you and see what you thought. So,
Yes.
in summary, we're able to establish a potential link to some old rituals that were being conducted 4 years ago. They had been, more than 4 years ago, they had been doing some research on live subjects in relation to some sort of blood magic.
Magic. Oh.
The results of which had some similarities to the results of these murders. So we looked into it. We found a connection to one Lamar Chris O'Neill, who is currently living in some farm somewhere up north. And one of the other people working on this project was one Lau Hummerson, who was working on it. When we looked into trying to locate her, we found a Lar Pickerson, which we believe may be related.
I assume you would have also confirmed that while you were there
Yeah.
to see like the marriage receipts
Yeah.
Yeah, we would've been able to
Yeah,
find
there was a
it.
marriage receipt. Yeah.
Okay.
or certificate or whatever.
Yes.
Receipt.
Yep. Here you go. Congratulations
Here's
for
your
paying
receipt.
me to marry you guys. Here's your
Congratulations,
receipt.
you've got married. Here's your receipt.
I'll ring you up at the cashier.
Which was one of the victims. So we believe we've established a link to one of the victims to this ritual, and the ritual to potentially a suspect who is related to it, as well as a few others who are involved. So we believe that these murders might be motivated by these previous events.
Oh. You
And
okay
I
there, Don?
provide other information.
Just the thought of using marriages as like a stamp card for marriages.
Oh, man.
If you get 10 stamps, you get a free marriage.
Yeah.
Or like buy one, get one free weddings.
Oh, Groupon?
Yeah. Buy 2 weddings, get the third one free.
A Groupon for weddings. I'll bet your ass that exists.
Yeah, it
Hold on,
does
I'm going
exist.
on Groupon to see if it
here we
exists
go.
right now.
While we do that,
Continue.
I'm gonna return to the fantasy we've trying to establish here. Yes. Hold on. He kind of like looks over the whatever notes you guys have, and he's like,
We're also kind of trying to see if this is enough. Because really, the only thing more that we can do is go to the guy's house, which could be dangerous, and we're not sure if it's like overstepping what we're meant to do.
Well, this Lamar Chris O'Neill is new. Definitely not something they knew about before. Lau Pickerson, if I recall correctly, they did investigate him quite a bit, or her quite a bit, but this connection to the Temple of Primordial Truth is new. Have you done any more investigating on whether or not Lau Hummerson knew about this?
Knew about what?
About
in particular?
the investigation. About the murders that Chris O'Neill was doing.
Well, she was a part of the research team, so she would have known about the human experimentation as it was happening. But I don't know if she would have necessarily known about... She may or may not... It's hard to tell whether or not she would have known if Lamar or somebody else was continuing the experiments on their own after the fact.
Especially since we can't exactly question her now.
Yes.
That's possible, but we can't... It's not
Yes.
something we can know.
But to answer your question, little one, I think that this is close. It would be nice to have some certainty about a few of these facts. And what we have here is paper, but nothing that can be really... that is the sort of smoking gun. I definitely think there's a high likelihood we'll be able to reopen with this information. But unless it's something urgent and something more, I guess, eye-catching, odds
Is the
are...
urgency that he's probably using the entrails to create new living beings enough?
Did he what now? You mentioned blood magic. Is that what he...
Well, the ritual that is connected to it involves using the parts and entrails of bodies in order to repurpose them into new creatures. So if...
I mean, if we can confirm that Lamar is still alive, I feel like this might be enough. But I think what we have going here is if we want to bring this forward to Hobson, I feel like there's high likelihood of you fulfilling your end of the bargain.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of law shows, and I think this is what's referred to as circumcisional evidence.
Yes, the circumcised evidence. I've heard of this as well.
I don't know if it's that.
Oh, well, what else could it be?
Situational?
That's what I said.
So what you're saying is that we need to find some kind of further evidence that
Mr. Chris O'Neill. We need to figure out if he is indeed, because 2 years living up in this address.
Yes.
We need to know that he's probably still alive. And the murders that happen, we see if maybe there's more, because there hasn't. The reason why it was closed in the first place is that it was gone cold for 9 months, much longer than it had any other time before.
So we need to establish that there are other victims.
I mean, I'm leaving this up to you. I can bring this to Hobson right away, and we can call it that. But we need to, if we want to really guarantee that this gets reopened and the entire review board can't veto it, then we got to make sure that it is a smoking gun.
Yeah, we need more than just circumcisional evidence.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I guess we're going to that address.
But I can update Hobson on what you found, and I can get what she thinks about it.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah, but for now, I think that you guys should try to find that smoking gun. If it were me, I would be interested to know what Lamar Chris O'Neill's doing now, and perhaps looking into the project itself. Because you said you found this at the records office, yes?
Yes.
And this is the religious council, huh? Who was in charge then? Was it?
It was the
Lith Lests?
Taproot?
Until the Taproot was the bishop.
Yeah,
at
she
the
was the one
time.
in charge at the time, so she would potentially know something about the project too.
Oh, that is indeed concerning.
Yeah, it seems like she might have, if our theories are correct, she probably would have voted to end the investigation because she had some idea that it might be connected to the church.
Yes, I've been in the game for a long time, and Taproot's new. New enough that I don't know much about her myself. So she is a wild card.
So it would be problematic to approach her directly about it, considering that she's directly involved.
Problematic maybe, but also the fastest way to get down to the bedrock of this.
To the tap root of it.
Yeah, I like that. Exactly. I mean, that's playing fast and loose is what I do, but you guys have your own style, and I'm not going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll bring this up with Hobson. He's still eating, and you guys just get your food as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I get a toothpick?
Yeah.
It comes with one.
A really big
No,
one.
a small toothpick.
Oh, okay. So
A little toothpick.
Yeah, sure.
So she gets a little toothpick and she very meticulously cuts off some of the shish kebab and makes a tinier shish kebab for Mina and hands it to her.
Tiny shish kebab.
So I assume we eat our food and then go our separate ways to plan,
Yeah, I think so.
unless there was more information that we needed from him.
I don't think so. All right. Well, if we need some kind of harder evidence, my inclination is to check the address first. We could talk with Matilda Taproot, but I feel like if she's more involved than we think, then it may be counterproductive. If she's directly involved for whatever reason, she could contact the murderer directly, which would be a problem.
And raise the alarms.
Well, I don't think she's necessarily working with the murderer. I
It's
think
a possibility.
Yes, this is true. I think that it's probably more that she realizes that it was probably connected with the church, and she's worried about the church losing face.
Yes, I also believe that's far more likely, but there's the possibility that she may be more involved than we know.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it would be dangerous to approach her about it, given our covers.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
And we also don't want to risk her looking into who might have hired us.
Yeah.
So we want to protect our interested parties as well.
Right, so are we all agreed we're going to the address?
Yeah, we should check in with Oathmaker first and let him know where we're going.
Oh, sure.
It is going to be this no, I said 2 days, so.
It would be this evening.
Yeah, it would
then.
be this evening, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So let's just do it tomorrow.
Yeah. You guys can. I'm assuming that even though you guys aren't saying it, but I'm assuming that there's enough time that you two can do your maintained cover, so you all get advantage for this this evening.
Oh no, I'm putting it off to the last possible moment.
Oh, okay. So you don't get advantage.
So I'm rolling for
The cover thing.
Just deception.
Yeah, you get advantage because you're not doing the thing Malmira's doing.
I got a 13.
I got a nat 20.
Nice.
What was my first roll? I 13, I think.
I think so.
That's higher than any of my previous rolls.
Pretty good.
Even though I'm the only one who's actively doing it every day.
I mean, I was tired from all of my exploring, so I decided to take the day and rest.
So you got 13? Okay.
I need to use the restroom though.
That's fine. All right.
And also catch up and eat lunch with friends. Friends.
Oh god, I'm so hungry. Also,
Yeah.
is the sanding done?
I think so.
The sanding is completed. I've been
Sanding.
it's been really distracting for me. I'm really sorry.
I
Yeah.
see like fidgeting, and I was like, oh no, he's suffering.
Brandon, do you want to give us a quick rundown of a couple of scenes of you meeting with your friends?
well, I mean,
Hey, we don't have to role play them. I just kind of want to get like a
I was
couple
talking
quick
about
snapshots.
eating with friends was the shish kebab place, because like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be conducting, your business, Frog's
Oh,
business.
I mean, I guess Frog's business would be resting. So it's she would put on like a disguise or something, and like maybe like just kind of like hop around rooftops just to make sure she's agile.
Yes, resting.
She's resting, so she makes sure that no one wants to like see her. No one sees her leave, and she puts on like a disguise anyway. So if someone saw, hey, there's a person on the rooftop, it's like, hey, there's a male halfling with dark skin on that rooftop. And so when they look at Frog, it's like, no, this is not the same one.
Yeah.
So they can't point me out they can't finger me in a lineup.
Okay.
I mean, isn't that also the phrasing that they use too?
No, not really. They say the word identify.
Identify is the official one, but like the slang.
Yes. Now in Ishurla, they use the word fingering very loosely.
Yeah. Frog has never actually been part of those lineups, but that's what she's heard.
I just want to make we haven't given a lot of thought to like regional slangs and stuff.
Yeah.
I want it to be a thing that in Oathmesh using like don't finger me is like a phrase.
Don't be a snitch.
Yeah, like don't mess around with me or something like that.
Fingers lose their fingers kind of deal. Jeez. Oh man. Woo.
I mean, this is the fiction you're starting to write here, Brandon.
Yeah,
so.
this is, and they're gonna get back and have no idea it's a
have
thing.
no idea.
And you're gonna slide it in there in casual conversation.
It'll just be us in chat and laughing about it. Does not tell them.
Yeah, so Frog's like getting some acrobatics practice and just checking out the town from above. Just doing some cool parkour. Parkour.
Looks like they're back again.
All right, welcome back.
Be careful with the cameras.
Yeah.
It's like he's jumping dimensions, jumping from one window to another.
I'm not gonna be able to go between them.
I know.
Yeah.
Parkour to avoid getting fingered. You missed a lot when you were gone.
You missed
Okay.
a lot. A lot happened.
We laid some landmines. Whether or not we step on them now or later is yet to be seen.
Yeah. So we go back to the bar on the ground floor of the hotel, and in the same booth that you saw before is sitting Hector Oathmaker, the really burly middle-aged orc that is the second in command for the SRC and Oathmesh branch. He's sitting there. He already has 3 extra drinks ordered for you guys. And yeah, you guys all come sit down. He's assuming drinks for you guys, so he has like a really weird it's like a smaller glass. It's like pink liquid and it has like extra things. Then we got another one that's like a really tall cylinder glass with it's like a vodka mule almost.
Oh man.
And then we got another one that's just a straight up like pint of Guinness or whatever. Yeah.
I think you may have chosen these drinks based off of our actual personalities and not our characters' personalities.
No, characters' personalities.
Are you saying the person with the Irish accent is going to drink Guinness?
No, that's mine. And he just like takes the
Yeah.
big old pint into the halfling's little arms.
Yeah.
All right, I take the pink drink.
It leaves you with the vodka and the.
Okay.
Did you want the Guinness?
No.
Okay.
I like Malmira giving you like a real snarky look while he drinks the
Little pinky out. There he ganks it till the orc orders you a pint of vodka.
Welcome back, everyone. I trust everything's good. I see no new scars. Everyone still has their pinkies.
For now.
All right.
Yeah. Our investigation has made some headway.
Oh, that's good.
Significant headway.
Yeah, I think according to the client, the only thing we're missing now is the smoking gun.
Oh, huh?
And which is why it was really crucial that we meet with you today, because
We have a lot of circumcised evidence, but not real evidence.
Circumstantial.
Ah,
That-
yes.
The word is circumstantial.
Yes.
Well, you could have told me that before.
I said that wasn't it, but I still missed it. I said circumsituational.
You know, I'm really glad you guys are getting along. We were very concerned about this new team being put together. But tell me about
I
this.
don't know what you're talking about. I'm a very affable person.
Malmira, you know what you did. Anyways, tell me what's this circumstantial evidence that you guys found?
We summarize it.
Yeah, summarize. Well, does sound like the client requesting a bit more is within the realm, but I think there's a very high likelihood that this investigation does get reopened. But if the problem is with the Homicide Review Board, then odds are they're also going to try to veto this being reopened again, and they do have some say in how that gets reopened. And if Matilda Taproot isn't explicitly compromised and we don't get evidence on that, then she's gonna have a vote in terms of shutting it down again.
No, I mean, we don't even know if she's involved.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If we find out that if she is involved, then we can get her off of the review board before they do the vote.
Oh.
Yes. So that's I think that's what we gotta make sure to shut down. If we are gonna bring this forward as is. If not, then by all means, if we can get the smoking gun, and even if she votes against it, then that's implicating herself. So either we get the smoking gun or we prove that she's part of it somehow and get her off of it. Either way, I feel like that's the easiest way to go. But I think as is, we did our due diligence. If you all want to call it, we can walk away right here, right now, and say the SRC did enough.
I mean,
I feel like I have some kind of personal responsibility to make sure something gets done.
Yeah, I like that.
additionally, the SRC is still pretty new and doesn't really have a great foothold in a lot of places. Like, I mean, where I come from, it's kind of looked at as a joke. My parents aren't particularly proud of me being part of it, but they don't have to know yet. As it stands, I think we should probably do a good job to hopefully elevate our status.
Yeah, well, the SRC is not necessarily public about this, so whatever blowback can come from this, so long as you guys don't murder a general, I don't think it's gonna bite us in the ass. So long, but this whole SRC here in Oadmesh, we're in pretty good standing. The SRC is essentially used as the public government's private military. So whatever comes of it is, it feels like we're gonna be okay on our end. So don't need to do it on our account.
What do you think? Should we investigate either of the two leads?
Stream timing says that we should.
All right. How do you think? How would we go about investigating or getting Taproot off of the homicide review board?
I mean, if you don't want to talk to her straight out, which I think is, I don't know, could be hit or miss. If she is part of it, then she blows up and she hides all of her evidence before we can bring this to the court. But if she isn't part of it, then we might be able to convince her that she's best interest is working with us. Alternatively, you could just try to get into our office and try to find someone in the temple to turn against her. Now, they're weird folk, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of the folks in the Primordial Truth, if they're presented with evidence, they'll side with the evidence. They're weird that way, but...
I mean, I don't really... I feel like it's of utmost importance that we hold our cover, which means we can't really present any evidence to anyone. Well, we could go back and see Velma.
Who?
One of the Church of Primordial Truths.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a blood caster there. That's how we got kind of our lead that it looks like these people are being used as fodder, I suppose.
All right.
Why would she help us, though?
Well, she seemed to really like me and Frog.
She's definitely one to look at evidence, and
She also really wants to make sure that the church stays in good standing.
yeah, and this is one easy ticket to get this whole church and blood magic a bad rap. And she was very defensive of both.
I suppose so.
I'm not saying that we go to her and that we do anything weird, but we could potentially... Well, we could... How much of the Ilthos Butcher investigation is public knowledge?
Well, in the document we gave you, the only thing that was classified were the two agents that got taken out, and that was just because the military wanted to save face. Everything else seems pretty public of information.
In which case, in theory, we could just go to her and be like, "Hey, not to alarm you, but we happened to notice as we were doing other research that this seems to align with some of the rituals we were talking about."
Maintaining your cover as research students, and maybe Malmira can come in as maybe some sort of investigator, private journalist. And then you brought that together, and you investigated them, and you have a whole thing going on about how you have a story, and that seems like a pretty good in.
I mean, just go talk to her, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, that could explain away all the evidence you guys have. And it is public records. Like, they got the forms and everything.
Yes, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like she's the most likely to help us because her big thing was making sure that the church was clean of everything. And if, in theory, there's a chance that somebody on the homicide review board who is involved in the church is involved in some shady dealings, she would very much not want them being part of these shady dealings because it puts the church in a bad light. And to me, it seems like Velma values the church over anybody else.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess we can go give her a chat and see
Yeah,
how she
I
reacts.
kind of see your logic. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of names you guys gave me, and
It's okay. I don't remember half of them either.
yeah, but I'll look into what I can. And it seems like we're getting close to this. So in terms of maintaining your covers, try to. It's going to be definitely easier if we keep our fingers off of this for our benefactors. But as things happen, then they happen. If you know what I mean. And we all know that maintaining cover is important, but your lives are much more important than that.
Yeah, I suppose if it comes down to it, we can't just flash our badges.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you guys got this on the wraps, and we'll keep an eye out for anything else. But in regards to the caster, I gave you the address for that. Very weird request. I'll have to put in to see if the Oathmesh can get some in-house contractors for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I assume, like, in our discussion, we kind of told him why we wanted it
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. There was a lot of catching up you guys did.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a weird roundabout method, but we think that it could work. And if, in theory, we can get our hands on any of the people who may have been used for it, we could potentially locate precisely where their other, like, their
right.
remaining body parts are.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna get that caster on retainer and that on the same address. Just show them your badge when you get there if you need them. But I think that the Oathmesh SRC division does need to get that sort of casters on our retainer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I'll have to bring to the higher ups.
I'm sure, like, if you have to go high enough up, Tassus will listen to you. He's a pretty reasonable guy. I feel a little cranky.
Yeah. Well, we'll look into that. But the three of you enjoy the rest of your drinks. I got some work to do.
Thanks.
Now he gets up first and he leaves. He pays the tab for your drinks, and you guys part ways.
Cool. All right. So I guess all that's left to do is to go ask Taproot about some things.
We're not asking Taproot.
Oh,
We're talking to Velma.
Oh, we're talking to Velma?
Yeah.
Oh, how would Velma know if Taproot is involved or not?
We just had this discussion. Well,
Sorry, I feel like I missed a crucial part of it.
you were on my side for this discussion.
I am. I was like, yeah, let's go talk. But I guess I mistook talking to Taproot. You said talk to her, and I was like,
No, I
Taproot?
was saying talking to Velma because Velma's been part of the church for a while, and she might be able to tell us whether or not Taproot had been involved in any of the dealings early on. And
Yeah.
Velma's more likely to give us the evidence than Taproot is because
She
Taproot
could
wants to
be.
protect herself.
Yeah. Okay.
Velma, on the other hand, aims to protect the church above everything else.
Okay. Now I see. Alrighty. Yeah.
Did you want to talk to Taproot instead?
Well, we can go about this through that. I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are we trying to be threatening about this and say that we have this evidence against the church? Because that's what it sounds like we want to do to me, but... Or are we trying to think of, like, something else? Try to, like... Or is it kind of a situation where you two found this connection and reached out to me as an investigator, and I'm talking to her as just, like... I'm not entirely sure how we're going about this conversation.
I guess you would be the someone who is investigating it on your own, and then in your investigation you came across us, who were also, we happened to be researching stuff that was similar to what we're seeing, and decided, I guess, to bring us along and put you in contact with who gave us the information.
I suppose.
So we're just blowing his cover and saying that he's straight up investigating the Ilthos butcher?
Well, I guess I could come as a different person potentially.
I mean, at this late in the game, we can.
Yeah, but I'd rather.
Well, if we're blowing one person's cover, what's the difference between blowing all of our cover?
Yeah. So I
And it's just with this one person. If we can get her on our side, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? Whether or not we approach her with the covers, the continued covers, or approach her with an apology of sorry for lying to you about who we were, but this is what we're actually doing. She's a seeker of truth. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I guess we won't make a lot of headway unless we do just be like, yeah, hey, straight up.
I feel like
But-
regardless of what we do, eventually within this conversation, we're going to have to out ourselves to some extent.
Not necessarily. If I guess if she's going to give us confidential information, probably. My thought was kind of that we specifically me and Frog approach her since we were the ones involved in the conversation to begin with. With the hey, in our research, as we'd been researching these methods that we had talked about, we noticed a striking similarity to the Ilthos Butcher the Ilthos Butcher stuff. And that seems really interesting, and more just kind of coming to her with the, hey, this looks similar. Do you think they might be connected? But I guess this doesn't put us in more connection with Taproot.
Yeah, the other thing is, what exactly are we trying to get from this conversation? We need a link to Taproot, which she may or may not have.
Yeah, I think we might just need to blow our cover.
So if she doesn't have that on hand, we need her to help us find it. And if that's the case, we still have to blow our cover. Or she does have it, and then we need to blow our cover to get it.
I don't think that she's in connection with Taproot particularly heavily, but there's a chance.
Yeah.
So maybe we go into it with the cover first, saying, "Hey, this looks weirdly familiar. What do you think?" And kind of gauge her reaction to that, and then say, "But it was also dismissed by the review board, and I heard that Taproot voted against it. What are your thoughts?" And then if she seems receptive to it, just kind of like play it by ear.
Okay. I mean,
I feel like if we're going to be admitting that we've lied to her, I feel like if we're admitting that we lied to her, I feel like we should do that at the beginning of the conversation, so that the whole conversation proceeds in good faith. We'll get a reaction either way.
I'm just worried that if she is in connection to Taproot, she's going to hide that information and then alert Taproot that we're investigating.
yeah. We could always investigate Taproot's office.
Where is her office?
It's in the same building. I think you guys would. I don't necessarily think you guys seen it, but if she's a bishop, she probably does have an office inside the building somewhere.
I guess we could look for that and
Oh,
covertly enter.
I have an idea. Wait, you're the stealth boy.
That's me.
Frog's the stealthy one.
I'm pretty stealthy.
Well, maybe we do both at once.
Yeah, we could
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Because I mean, stealth missions are always better done solo.
We should
Yeah.
be splitting the party.
Let Frog do that while we talk with, I suppose.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, you two are the ones she's already talked to. If I went and searched the office, then you don't have to explain this new person who's not with you.
That's
It
true.
would help you maintain the coverage story that you've already gone with.
My biggest argument for splitting the party is if she is in cahoots with Taproot, then we wouldn't have very much time before she alerted her to like hide stuff. Versus if we had somebody searching Taproot's office at the same time, there's no way that she can alert Taproot to us investigating her before we find any evidence in her office.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good way to hedge your bets.
Hmm.
The question is, who is best suited to searching her office? Again, if I did it, then you wouldn't have to explain this new person or why one of your
But are you good at that sort of thing?
co-researchers are. Oh, I have a few things that can help. Like I can disguise myself, or I have passive at a trace.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's pass without a trace? How does that work?
It's a +10 to your stealth checks.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a get out of jail free card if you can walk away.
So I could sneak in.
That's that's pretty good.
You also know how she looks like too. She's a half elf, and you've in sort of the dossier, it does have pictures of them.
I mean, I guess I could do that, but yeah, I could do that. I could just disguise myself as her.
Or you could just do what Gonti says and just do it live.
I mean, this is pretty much doing it live.
Yeah, we are doing it live. We're doing both
All
things.
right.
That's about as doing it live as it gets.
Yeah.
So you guys comfortable with that plan? You can go forward from there.
I'm okay with that.
It would
okay
give
with
me a reason to be in the building and get up to her office, but I'm going to assume it's locked.
Yeah, you're beginning to be closer to Mike again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the
Fine.
one issue. I'm not really... Well, wait a minute.
I mean, it's an open building.
Yeah.
Well, her office will be locked.
Well, yeah, but the building's open. You can just walk in and tell them that you want to do some research, and they'll just let you in.
Yeah, they have let you in before.
Yeah. All they know
Although-
is that you don't put things away where they should be.
Yeah.
And then are we blowing our cover or no?
Let's play it safe and just ask her about it. And we can hint at like the connection to Taproot, but I don't think we should say like.
Well, I guess the problem is we're kind of looking for more concrete evidence.
Yeah.
So maybe asking about the person
Mm-hmm.
and talking about the connection to the butcher investigation.
Yeah, and that might just get us what we need.
Yeah, this is true. This might just get us what we need because she might know a little bit more than she's letting on about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Worst comes to if we do hit the point where we just have to. Do you know message, Malmira?
No.
Shit. So that means that we can't metagame it and know if he's found the evidence that he needs.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't have a way to really send a message like that. Let me double check.
Crunch.
Dice do look delicious.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to get a set of candy dice. Anyways.
Yeah.
Just to eat on.
Can
on
you
stream.
imagine? Can you imagine like the power move that would be? You roll a 1 and you get so angry that you eat your d20 on camera. That would be awesome.
What would be even better is if it was like made out of like loose, not like hard rock candy, but like almost a bit looser.
It
that
was
you
like
could,
gummy.
Yeah, no, not necessarily gummy, but like you could bite into it and crunch it without hurting your teeth.
Like an M&M.
Yeah, if it was like an M&M almost, where like you can crunch it in. But the thing is, you had to get a good solid crack. So it'd be like a thing where like you put it in your teeth and go like a mint. Like, you know, when you can bite, you can break a mint. If it was like mint hard and you could just break it with your teeth, that would be such a power move to be like, go walk a D20.
Oh man.
All right. Anyway, at the very least, Frog, you're gonna have to show me how to pick locks.
Okay. I can like do my best to show you how and lend you my.
I'll
My
give you a
thieves' tools.
+2.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys make your way over to the Temple of Primordial Truth. You go back to their office complex dealio. It kind of looks like a business center. You guys go up to their big double doors, and you see the sigil above the door with the sun and the radiant lights and the 3 symbols of the T, the ornate T, and the 2 other arcane symbols that are next to it. And you guys make your way to the different receptionist person, but you sort of like get past him, very kind of just saying, "Oh, we're just here to use the library." And both of you, and the 2 of you probably say, "Hey, we want to talk with Velma. She told us that she could help us. We're not going to roleplay that. We're just going to get to the scenes."
Yeah.
The 2 of you make your way up to Velma's office, and she's not necessarily expecting you, but you knock on the door, and she's kind of like those office hours deal where they come like, "Oh, I'm working, but yeah, let me put this away real quick. Go and have a seat." Malmira, let's do your thing because you're doing this while they're walking to the office.
All right.
So how do you go about getting into the bishop's office?
I'm gonna do the thing that you do when you're in like this public. It's a public space, but it's still like people's offices and stuff. So I just walk around like I have a reason to be here.
Yeah, and they would have a directory because this is a big building, and they would have different lecture halls and stuff like that. So basically, you look for like a whole section of a floor that's not necessarily labeled, or if they are, they're sort of like labeled by like a person's names.
Yeah.
You scan the names, and you do find a last name. It's very like academic, this building. It's set up more like a college building than a temple, right? So you do find on the board of the floor like where people's offices are, and you do find her name.
Yeah, I just walk like I belong there.
Yeah. So I guess just roll a deception using charisma. Yeah, because you're walking through like you own the place, which historically, trust me, I've done this before. Just walk like you own the place, and no one gives you a second look.
Yeah, nobody. They just assume that
Yeah.
they haven't
You're,
seen you before.
On a college campus, and you need to go somewhere, and you don't want people to bother you. Bring a backpack.
Yeah, and just like walk like you know where you're going.
Yeah, if you have a backpack, people will assume you're just a student.
And look at
Yeah.
your phone the
Yeah.
whole time.
This happens all the time.
walking with a ladder?
Gonti's is right. Like they've
Oh,
done
man.
this a lot.
Oh yeah,
Just
walking with a ladder.
Just walking with a ladder and a toolbox and just be like, oh, well, they're just here they know what they're doing. It's weird because I worked security, and that's one of the first things they told us, like, always be wary of that. People walking in with tools and know it, and you assuming they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if they're not with someone else, question them. Like, that's one of the first things they told me.
I got a 16.
All right, cool. Yeah, you actually walk by a couple of people, but they give you a quick nod, but then they just kind of like walk past you.
Yeah.
No glint of recognition or no glint of suspicion in their eye.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the front of her office, and it doesn't look like there's no lights on the inside. There's no movement on the inside. You try the door handle, and I don't think it would be locked.
I feel like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
All things considered in this place, I feel like most things aren't locked.
Yeah, unless it's like a restricted like knowledge room. But
this is
an
also
office.
It's a
the office for
personal
an
office.
archbishop.
I'm
I feel like
I'm
they're
gonna say her office is not locked, but when you open it up, it's very clearly like it's more of a suite where there's different rooms. So odds are
okay.
one of the backer rooms are gonna be locked. But
She
her
probably
main,
has like locked drawers. more
yeah,
than
yeah.
anything.
Her main office is unlocked, so you open the door and there's no one in here.
Yeah, just look for I look for stuff that seems important, or
Investigation.
look for locked shit.
Okay.
Investigation.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
say that
cast-
right away there is gonna be a locked drawer. That's a good one. It's like her top drawer is locked.
Yeah. I feel like in this place, things are pretty much as open as they can be, which means she would only lock up the items that are like,
Yeah.
Personal belongings.
well, that are what's the word that I'm looking for?
Confidential?
Confidential. Yeah.
Confidential or that can be like dangerous because she does also work in a public like official position, so she probably has government documents that shouldn't be like.
Yeah. So, and your
Out.
investigation. Go ahead and give me the number you rolled.
Oh, you're
Alright.
gonna bless yourself too?
I have the guidance cantrip.
Oh,
which I
nice,
forgot.
dude. Easy.
Nice.
Guidance cantrip. I'm gonna call that 13. That's a
It was a little cocked, but I don't think it was cocked enough to matter.
Yeah.
17 minus 1.
Ooh.
16.
That is above what I was thinking. So, yeah, you do find that she has two doors that go out of it. One of them goes to like a sort of like really, really, really scaled down studio apartment dealio where you assume that this is where she sleeps when she's working long hours. Doesn't look like it's kitted out to be a proper room, but like it has the accoutrement of a bed and like a bunch of filing cabinets and a little work desk. And then the other one is actually locked, but is actually locked and kind of has like a glass window so you can already see into it. It's just like filing cabinets of stuff. And it looks like it's more of a storage and archive and personal library. And then the top drawer of the desk. But as you're investigating and you're looking around, there's nothing referencing something that happened 4 years ago. But you see a lot of interesting references to like current projects that are going on. Nothing really catches your eye, unless of course you're interested in anything that relates to you personally, with your arcane question.
I feel like it's not on his mind right now.
Okay. But you make a mental note of it, but you don't look into it because you have more pressing matters.
Yeah.
As you start digging through it, where do you want to go next?
I guess I'll start with the drawer.
Okay. You break out the lock
Lockpick,
picking
I
kit.
assume I borrowed.
Yeah, you borrowed
Tools.
from Frogs. Yeah. How customized are these? Like, is it like did this frog have her name on all of them or something?
No.
No, okay.
They're probably a little
They're
bit
just
smaller
generic?
though. Like,
Okay.
because I am a halfling.
Okay, I was just wondering if there was something like cool that she did to
Very
their thing.
small lockpick
Yeah.
set.
She would not have the monogrammed.
That's
That one's super
that is
cocked.
cocked. Okay, that's a 12 plus 1 plus my dex, just plus 2, so 15. Unless I have any other mods from getting practice from Frog earlier.
I think a 1 should be good. A plus 1 seems
Sure, like a 16
yeah.
then.
Because you actually have a lockpick.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll say that you do open it, but before I tell you what's in it, let's jump to these guys.
Sure.
So we jump back to you guys, and you see Velma, and she kind of like looks up, and she has reading glasses. She wasn't wearing glasses before, but she says, oh, "You two.
Hello.
I can't remember your names, but yeah, please come in.
It's okay. Don't worry. We're part of big classes, so
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
used to being mixed up for each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You look kind of a lot different, but
Everything looks the same when you're teaching a 300-person class and there's only 2 halflings.
you know, it's been a while since I've been in public academia like that. But yes, I can empathize. But yeah, well, please come in. And she kind of gestures to the 2 seats and says, "Do you two want refreshments or anything? Or I assume you guys came because you have more questions."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had some like follow-up questions
Oh,
and more
I
of
expect
like
nothing less.
yeah, like intrigues and stuff. So we were doing some research about the the ritualistic stuff and we really I think we made one of our like first points in our thesis specifically about the the Yenagu rituals and talking about the things that we talked about last time, and utilizing every part of the sacrifice and
Yes, and I do recall a bit of this.
and then we started researching a bit more like modern examples and
Yes, with how gnolls reproduce currently using cows and fungal biomass.
yeah, and we came across this like we came across and found like similarities between the sacrifice victims of some of the Yenagu rituals and victims of a like a serial killer case.
Interesting.
And we wanted to get your like opinion on like because you're the only person practicing blood magic in the city. So we wanted to get your like opinion on like is there another person doing these things or
I don't know. Now I thought when you said a serial killer, I assumed it might.
well it's like an old case, but
in Oadmesh.
yeah, like 3 to 2 years ago.
They were calling him the Ilthos Butcher.
Yeah.
And I know it seems a little out of left field, but hear me out. In some of the way that they like talked about how some of the victims were found, a lot of them were missing the important parts that would have been used in these old rituals, and we just found that really odd.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities.
Snaps is getting the feeling that she does look genuinely confused, and she's like, "I haven't heard of this Ilthos Butcher. Do you hold on? Do you have any documentation about this?"
Not really.
I mean,
Not honest.
yeah.
We just thought it was interesting, and I was wondering if that was like an angle that they had looked into, if maybe like they were talking about it. Like neither of us were in Oadmesh at the time. We're studying at Cardinal City, and we're out here for other researches. But one of the, I guess we were just wondering if that was a thing that they had looked into for it.
Seems like kind of like the first thing that they would do.
Yeah, but blood magic and its sacrifice has not been something that has happened in Ishurla, at least not on that scale. Like, sure, the early gnolls, and there are some isolated incidents of a dead mother wanting to have to reproduce without proper clearance, but that's always been very obvious. And this Ilthos, I have not heard of this. You said it's an Oadmesh.
Yep.
I assume we probably explain very briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like,
the gist of the
yeah, and she's like, Now the missing of the internal organs, that's intriguing. I don't know why they wouldn't use the rest of the body. But you asked about this in terms of vital organs. I guess that's could be a link.
It's not 1-to-1. I just thought it was really interesting, and not that it has to do anything with it, but you'd also mentioned that somebody had gotten in trouble recently here for it, and timelines are kind of similar.
I see. And she's kind of like, she kind of gets up and looks out the window that you guys were at before, and she says, now the investigation that the incident that happened here in the Primordial Truth was isolated, and it was one I can't remember the boy's name. One of the acolytes.
Okay.
I remember what the name was.
Oh.
She doesn't.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I can't remember the boy's name, but he was doing something, and they investigated. I wasn't part of the project. I was an acolyte myself on a different research project, but as far as I could tell, they were doing same like flora and fauna cataloging, and I assumed that it was just sort of unrelated to blood magic. Are you saying that?
We
What are
have no
you saying?
idea. Oh, we just noticed similarities in this, and like we said, the timelines lined up, and we just weren't sure.
We wanted to know if you knew anything about it.
This
Okay.
Ilthos butcher is not something that I was in the know about. I keep my business in the church. I work on what I work on. I don't keep up with news. So this serial killer is news to me. Huh.
I assume she's still like looking out the window and not at us.
Yeah, she's kind of like she's still kind of like seems she's turned to face you at this point. She's not looking at you guys. I mean, she's looking at you guys. She's not looking out the window. She turned to face you guys, and she's still trying to genuinely confused. Snaps, as far as you can tell, it looks like she is genuinely kind of still trying to compartmentalize what she just learned. I'll have to look into this.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It's not pressing or anything. We just thought that there was a really interesting
If this has something to do with blood magic and it was being done at the Primordial Truth, then I'd like to know about it. And obviously, I didn't know about it before.
yeah. Apparently, in like the news articles we read, the case they just closed it. They didn't ever found the dude or.
Closed it.
Yeah,
They
the
invest-
Homicide Review Board voted to just close the case several months ago without there being a resolution to it.
Yeah, it was pretty recently.
Huh.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I don't keep up with these politics, but I'll have to look into this project. I believe it was headed. I can't recall what project, what department they were working for, but I know that the boy in question was excommunicated and he left, if I recall correctly. He worked with two others, one of which is still a colleague that still works tangentially with me. She goes to her desk and starts fiddling through notes. I correspond with her quite often. Marlin. Yes, Miss Kane. Yeah, she works in the Cardinal branch. and
Wait,
she,
out of character.
She was one of the acolytes that was listed working alongside Lamar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Miss Marlin Kane. She's recently been heading up a project that we're working on in relation to diseases of the blood. Yes, an associate of mine, also interested in blood magic, but I've been working with her for years, but tell you what, I will look into this right away. This has opened my. If they're doing something with blood magic without me knowing when I was an acolyte, then this is and they've handed those files over to me once I became a associated member. So, yeah, and then she starts like looking through some paperwork, and then she says,
Sorry to throw so much information at you all at once.
"No,
Yeah,
this
we're
is
just curious.
this is good. This is." And then she kind of like takes a look at you, and then she goes to the door to make sure, like, she opens it up and kind of peeks back and forth, and she kind of like closes it again, and she's like, obviously in the search of truth, various things that people have preconceptions about get upturned. I'm no stranger to this feeling of realizing I didn't know as much as I thought. But the primordial truth itself are good folk. They also seek the truth. But when that often doesn't coincide, they keep things from the public. I did not know of this research thing, and that bothers me because they did tell me about some various projects that aren't actually reported, and none of them had to do with Lamar, or she didn't say Lamar with that.
Probably says like the individual.
Yeah, she had nothing to do with Marlin and her team. So if they're keeping something from me, it must be for good reason, or bad reason. That has yet to be seen.
No, fingers crossed for good reason, but I mean,
who else have you told this about? Who else have you told this to?
just us, because this is all like we're just working on our thesis, and it's just us that works on it.
Yeah, we just noticed a similarity.
Yeah, we just want to run it by you.
Okay. Well,
it's coming along great, by the way.
Yes.
With the exception of this one.
This is more an intellectual curiosity at this point.
We're not going to write about it.
Yeah.
You seek the truth, and I appreciate that. And thus far, as you've just pointed out, I can't trust people here. How about you two become my assistants, at least for this?
Sure.
All right. Well, all my other projects can be put on hold because this bothers me way too much for me to leave it alone. All right. The first person we should probably ask is the records office. Downstairs. Let's go. And then she kind of like grabs her keys and locks her drawer, and then you guys leave towards the records office of the Primordial Truth.
And then I assume, are we cutting back to Malmira?
Yeah, we're gonna jump back to Malmira.
Yeah.
Malmira, you have opened the top drawer. Inside, you see that she has her personalized like wax stamping kit, that like her sigil essentially, that has like all of her custom shit. Additionally, she also has like papers and stuff like that. You see a lot of like the papers on top are all headings and sort of correspondence between herself and various like internal memos in terms of like talking to the review board. You shuffle through it. You see the headers of the homicide review board, the military, the public relations office, and a couple of in-house memos to other bishops. Which ones do you want to scan first?
I'll check the stuff regarding the homicide review board.
Okay, a lot of like committee stuff. So like it's overarching committee, military committee header that they're using, and in the correspondence is sort of her talking back and forth between various members and like votes and stuff like that. And one of the things that jump out to you that you see right away is one that's addressed to Sees Most Brighton, the lizard folk politician, and it's from her, and it says, one of the things that catches your eye is regarding the closing of numerous homicide investigations. Your constituents will be proud to know that it was you who increased their property values, and I can count on your vote in the next upcoming cycle. And then you go on to read about it, and it seems like she's talking to Sees Most and telling him about how numerous interest and property lenders are interested in increasing their property value, and her argument is that by closing these homicide cases in certain districts, he can increase it and to increase property values, and how he can benefit from it, going back and forth. And the letter that catches your eye explicitly is the one about the vote for the Ilthos butcher closing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's the only one that you kind of jumps at you. The rest of it's just kind of like dense in terms of like people just talking about votes and various things like that.
Copy these. I'm just like thinking. I don't have a way to like take a copy, right? So if I
don't know. There might be. Is there a spell to copy?
I don't have access to it. I'm sure
Okay,
there
I have a
is.
quick question. I have a very
Yeah.
important question. As part of the SRC being given free reign of this, does
Oh,
this
yeah.
mean that we can take things without a warrant, or is there a warrant
Oh
system in place?
yeah, no. Oathmesh does not operate on a warrant system.
Oh, you
it's
just take it?
it's run by the military and the SRC. In terms of the level 0 clearance that you guys were given from the SRC, in that you can murder people if you need to. I don't.
Oh.
Yeah, like I
Oh,
think
this is child's play. Then.
Yeah, this is not going to be among
I
the
guess
things that
I
they're going to.
take it.
I mean, odds are she's probably not looking through that drawer on a daily basis and
Yeah.
is going to notice that some of her old letters have like disappeared. I
Yeah.
mean, there's always a chance.
But if you guys are turning this in like tomorrow, odds are she's not going to like
Yeah.
catch wind of it.
Yeah, this
yeah.
is hard evidence that she has compromised, and Seismost have compromised their morals in choosing to close cases
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
I mean-
personal gain. This is hard evidence to get her and him removed.
It connects her to Seismo, so it doesn't really explain why she wants to close it. But
Yeah.
Well, all it does is it says that she and Seismost are closing cases for personal gain rather
Yeah.
than for the good
Yeah.
of others.
That's right.
And that puts them in a compromised position enough to remove them from the board and to have all their decisions questioned.
Taste.
It doesn't matter what her motive truly is. This means that she should not be working.
Yeah. It makes it much more likely that it's not just going to get closed again if it gets reopened.
yeah, so I'll take that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to scan? In terms of time, I think you can ask one more question for this drawer, unless you want to decide to spend the time
What
in the rest of the room.
else? What other headers did I see?
For the military, the review board, the public government header, like for the public government, because the Oathmesh has two branches of government,
Right, yeah,
the
yeah.
public one and the military public. For the public is very tiny in comparison to the military branch of the government, but it's still there.
Okay, but no.
And then
personal...
also internal memos to other bishops, like for the temple.
I know which one I would go for, but I'm not allowed to tell you.
I'll go for the internal memos within the church.
Okay, you're looking through them, and not there's a lot of internal memos in terms of like project delays and like you really need to push this project to go forward. None of them stand out to you, except for you do see a reference to something I mentioned before about how you saw a project pertaining to your personal thing. But let's gloss over that, and I'll come back to it off stream to kind of mention it to you. But in terms of the relation to the current investigation, you find that there is a reference to it's written to a different bishop. One bishop Boyman O'Feen. Bishop Boyman O'Feen, who in the wording of it's cryptic, but the general feel of the general tone of it is make sure is like I don't want to phrase this in a way that's bad, so let me collect my thoughts just for a second.
As you're doing that, I wanna sing. Would you just no bad hugs? I had to sing it. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I approve.
Had to do it to him.
I had
Yeah,
to
you know
approve.
I had to do it to him. Taxes are boring. I'm sorry that you have to be doing taxes right
Taxes
now.
are fun.
Dude, I was doing those like right before this.
Yeah. So the message to Boyman O'Feen is Boyman. I'm just say O'Feen because Boyman's a really weird name.
You're the one who gave it to him.
I know, but
My
that
name
was
is Boy Man.
Look, I used a random name generator to have a list of names in various departments. I didn't review them very well. I didn't say them out loud.
Yes, my name is Boyman.
Yeah.
O'Human.
I am Boy Man.
Yeah, I didn't say them out loud. By the way, if you're gonna do this, make sure you read them aloud before you assign them to someone. Oh yeah. So Boyman O'Feen voicing concerns about follow-up investigations from the religious consult and how like there's the pressure's on to like not get any sort of heat from the religious consult because they're doing an overall review again in preparation for the next election cycle. So basically, they're just saying, hey, we need to make sure all of our ducks in a row. And he's like being very like using words that are very like cagey and very like we need to make sure that all of our shit's squared away. And it's not using direct terms, but very like that's kind of the message of, whatever shit that we have going right now, we got to make sure that it's under wraps before the review hits in about 3 months.
Sure, I'm going to choose to keep this one here and remember that name to see if it comes up in anything else I look at.
Okay. Yeah, and then let's decide. Did you want to pick the bigger room, or did you want to go into
I'll
the personal
check the
quarters?
bigger room at this point now.
Yeah. Did you want to go into the personal quarters office area, or did you want to go to the one full of filing cabinets?
The filing cabinets.
All right, cool. I'm gonna make that roll.
Guidance.
Guide my hand. to
Yeah.
take this bitch
It's such a
down.
good cantrip. Call that a 10, and I can't even see it.
2.
12 plus 3 is 15.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Oh.
Nice.
The desk was 12. This one was 15. Yeah. So, you're sitting there. You're picking it. It's taking a while, but you're getting through it. While you do the pick, you do open it. But let's jump to these guys again. So, we jump to you guys. You guys have made your way down to the records office. Velma has. There is a line of like people in there, but Velma just kind of opens the back door area and goes directly to the essentially like the
restricted section?
Not the restricted section, but the floor manager's office
Oh.
for the records area and like the ongoing projects management. So essentially, it's sort of like a project management dealio. So like each person is a head of a department that oversees research and things like that. And you guys are in the region where you're in the room that keeps all the records management, the archivist, and she goes directly to her name, Bertha Rose. You guys haven't met her, but he has.
I recognize the name.
Yeah. So Velma goes directly into that room, and she knocks in and says, "Bertha, do you have a minute? I have a couple of inquisitive minds that have brought to light something that I am interested in finding out the truth to." And then Bertha says, "Oh, well, yeah, come in." She kind of puts away what she's doing, and then the two of them have an exchange. You don't have to talk to yourself. Velma essentially just says, "I need these documents for this project that was opened up around this time. Where can I go to find it?" And what? And yeah. So Bertha says, "Oh, well, I've been told to." She kind of looks to you and kind of brings Velma to the side, and they whisper a bit. If you guys want to roll a perception check,
They got scrubbed.
I mean, is my passive 16 not enough?
it's close. But I kind of feel like you'll get the biggest thing is the rule of clarity.
I just keep rolling really badly, so I rolled a 16.
Rolled
Okay.
a 5.
5. Okay. The 16 is enough to hear garbled words of it, but not the whole clear sentences. You catch the words Grand Bishop review. Definitely not something that we should be doing right now. Can this wait? That's kind of what you get from it. But Velma starts with like actually like pushes her kind of like out of the little like ear distance. And she says, "No, I cannot wait. This is not something that we can just." And she looks her in the eye. I was told when I took this position that I had you guys were being completely transparent, and I was lied to. And unfortunately, the bishop in charge is no longer here to say no. And I know that you're not part of it. So stop prohibiting me from finding the truth in this matter.
Ooh, that Goliath intimidation. though.
Yeah, yeah. And
Are
then
you going to roll intimidation?
yeah, I can roll
No,
intimidate.
you don't have to.
I mean,
I just feel like narratively.
She gets, like,
narratively,
advantage
yeah,
on it, I
yeah,
think.
she does. It's a 12 plus another. She rolled 12 twice.
God damn.
And I'm assuming that she has like a +2 charisma at least. So that works for sure. And Bertha's like, "Velma, it's okay. I'll have to let them know you'll know." And she says, "You can tell them whatever the fuck you want."
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And she says, okay. And then she starts like looking into an index book. And then she says, "Well," and she kind of like once she finds it, she just turns it over, and Velma looks at it herself. And you guys probably come up and you guys see a list of names and like books and reference numbers and project numbers, and it gets all convoluted. And then Velma said, looking through it, and she says, "All right, we'll have to go look at the records. And then she kind of like, we smash cut to you guys, and she pulls like binders off the thing and she hands it to you guys, and she says, well, it appears that apparently this project was kept from me for was kept from me for an unknown reason, but the way Bertha was talking, it sounds like she was given orders for documents to not leave necessarily. I can hear that now.
Is it coming up on the mics?
I don't know,
Okay.
but I heard it on the thing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and she's like, this concerns me much more than it should, but I fear that that leadership hasn't been as forthwith with certain projects as they seem to have alluded to.
This is really concerning.
It is.
Yeah.
It is not something that I signed up for, but hopefully the truth will be here, and if they're wise, they won't be. But I think I know where to look if we don't find it in these documents. All right, so she starts.
Cue research montage.
Yeah, and then throughout that she says, I think I might know because recently they actually re-indexed a lot of these, and they started using a new system underneath a new management to organize all of these. Bertha is part of the old guard, but the archives have been brought from a different site in order to be recatalogued, and that's been headed up by a different archivist that is revving to take over Bertha's position. And if we talk to him, he might know more about this and things that aren't in this indexing pool, if that makes sense. It's a new system, and something that something that us that are more independent want to keep, and we felt it necessary to keep all of management, all of the bishop's personal political interests off of our projects. So we can ask him.
So I take it we didn't find anything in these documents?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you guys go on another stint. This is like a solid, probably about an hour or so. And I think at this point we can kind of assume that you've been in the office space for like 15, 20 minutes just about. Like, you're definitely kind of feeling a bit like worried that maybe you might be overstaying, but let's jump back into it. So we're gonna jump back into you opening the door. You get into the records office, and there's like a table that has like a viewing thing with a lot of like charts and like blueprint like size papers with just records of stuff. In there you also see like tomes of books and bookshelves. You see cabinets that have drawers and filing, filing cabinets, like what we more think of a modern filing cabinet. Yeah.
I have a really quick question.
Yeah.
As part of the SRC, we've been given practically license to kill. Does that mean we can just arrest people?
If you deem fit, yeah.
But I didn't bring my manacles.
Yeah, but your current objective is to get the investigation reopened, which doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my thought is if someone did come in on Malmira, he's just like, I'm investigating a thing. You can't stop me from doing
Not
this.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the janitor. Jared's like, I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Is there like an organization I can tell, like on labels?
I think just a raw. This also falls underneath investigation. I hate just asking for like repeater investigation check.
I mean,
yeah.
To be fair, it would become immediately obvious if there's some sort of filing
I
system
guess you're
because
right.
it would be public. It would be labeled on the
Yeah, it would be
outside.
labeled. Yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff. A lot of it, the things that are labeled are more of a, like by year, and it seems like one filing cabinet is entirely like interactions and things that she had for like certain years, and then the next filing cabinet seems to be like project dossiers and project rundowns, and the next one, another filing cabinet seems to be something in terms of like her own like study, and then in the tomes and things that aren't labeled, they seem to be more like personal effects and personal like tomes that she's been using, and just from like glossing over the headlines, it's very obvious that that Taproot seems to be of some sort of druidic researcher of some sort.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start by year, going to like 4 years ago or whatever. That makes lines up with the research that we've already established.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me that insight check, or then the investigation check.
That's a 2.
Ooh.
4.
Yeah, one, her handwriting is not the best, but also like her record system keeping is very sparse. And you go through there, and there's a lot of as you go through the documents, you find her personal records, a lot of transactions, and there's just a thick folder for like a month, right? Like she was the bishop for the last like 6 years ish almost. Like
She throws nothing away.
yeah, and she like catalogs these. So each binder for like a month is like yay thick.
Damn.
So like, and it's just loose leaf papers of like letters and stuff. There's just a whole lot. And as you're going through it, there like inside of the binder, it's by date, but then other than that, there's nothing. You kind of got to like go through it. There's like Telerit, like before the Telerit, they used to do like just manual message scrolls. So she has a few of those, and they're all curled up and stuff like that. It's like looking at a pack rat's receipt drawer. Like it's pretty dense. So unfortunately, you don't draw too much. What was the exact roll again? 4. Yeah, there's not much that you can glean from this without spending like a solid like half a day organizing it again.
Okay, so I'll put this one back, and so what were the other like cabinets?
So I'm assuming that when you're done by date, you also look through her personal letters, and you also look through the projects that were active at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple of the folder names, because I think that's probably the only thing you'll get, just because of how dense it is.
He's asking what other categories there are for him to search after this.
Oh, yeah.
Now that he's failed this role, what can he try again on?
Oh, okay. Well, there is the projects that were running active at the time. She would have had the closing reports of it, so to speak, right? Like she has the final like report for each project. She has copies of them. And there's probably other copies elsewhere of like the details, but essentially she just has the management report of like how that project did at the time.
Okay.
And then she also has her personal research that you assume that is not her administration role, but this is where she keeps her personal documents as well.
I'll check those like project reports.
Okay. For that time, go ahead.
It's better. 10.
Okay. So with the 10, you're looking through it, and you see that there was a lot of projects at the time, and there's a general trend of like it within the last 2 years is probably the most busy that Primordial Truth has been. They actually acquired this building about 8 years ago, and then they've been transitioning from their old place for a while. And as the years go on from that 10-year mark, the rate of projects that they have active has been incrementally more and more. So when you're scanning the 6 years, there's a lot of projects that start happening. But in the beginning, like we start with like when the first murder started happening, the active projects seem to be primarily having to do with researching the various like new domains of like light and the other practical uses for like certain spells, as well as like trying to like bend spells to do things that they're not supposed to, in terms of like maybe a divine smite can become a cooking spell, or like trying to like research in a way to harness radiant energy to cook food in a microwave sort of thing, like
cooking with necrotic damage.
Cooking with necrotic damage, or like fermenting with necrotic damage, like things like that, like things along that line of thought. Like they do a lot of like research in that, and that seems to be the bulk of it. When you start looking for primarily like biomancy or like anything to do with blood or sacrifice, you see that there is a department, and there is like a whole branch of it that is having to do with that sort of stuff. And you do see the name Lau Hammerman, and and you pulled that project, and the project was named what would it be named? Because it wouldn't. It probably would be named something really like airy, so it would be probably named something along the lines of
Project Compost.
No, it would be named Project Divine Actualization. Yeah, and you look through it, and your eyes open wide as you start reading. And we'll jump back to you guys.
Oh, you're going to reveal the information that he's getting and the information that we're getting at the same time, huh?
Maybe. So you guys finish, and you guys have jumped again, and she has taken you guys over to the one Mr. What's his name?
Yeah, it's this other dude.
Yeah.
20 easy recipes that you can use necrotic damage with.
His name's Koska Molt. And
His name's Costco.
Kostka.
Cusco?
Cusco.
Yeah, Cusco. Koska Molt. And he says he's not willing to talk to outsiders. You see, there's a whole contingent within the Temple of Primordial Truth who believe that management has not been doing what it has been intending for the last couple of years. And unfortunately, that it's a few of us have taken upon ourselves to self-moderate and make sure that a couple of our projects don't go to where they shouldn't. Myself, and seeing as I am a bloodcaster and a few of my projects are not above board, I have unfortunately had need of him. But he doesn't do well with outsiders, so if I could ask you to stay out here.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Whatever you need.
that's cool. I guess
You're helping us with this project, so.
we are
Yes.
your assistants. You want us to wait out here? Cool. Whistle if you need us, I guess.
Yes. Also, we
Yeah.
do need to have a conversation about how you guys are going to publish this work in any regard, as well as your general opinion of the Primordial Truth.
Well, the plan wasn't to publish any of this. It became a personal curiosity with regards to it. That being said, if there is more information into this closed case, I feel like it might be our duty to turn the information in to get it reopened. But I don't.
That's not. Yeah, it's not our duty as students. It's our duty
Yeah.
as like citizens.
I sympathize, however,
Yeah, I
I-
don't really know what to do about all of this, honestly.
It's
like
a lot of extra writing. That
like I
we've
had
gotta do.
mentioned, sometimes the path of truth often means we may have to go against the establishment, but there are two different establishments. The Primordial Truth itself, as I mentioned, we don't trust some of the leadership to begin with, which is hence why we are here in the sub-basement of Building C. And then we kind of zoom out, and we are indeed in like a dank basement.
Dunk.
Yeah. And
There's not even like actual lights down
Yeah.
here. It's all lit with fire.
yeah,
There is also a sign that says "Beware the leopard."
yeah.
It just says really beware the leopard. Like it's more like drastic and like scrawled
Yeah.
hurriedly.
And he says,
It's written in blood.
yeah, and Velma says, if I feel that this is definitely a true concern, then I think that bringing this to someone is definitely what I will do, but we must seek the truth before we can decide what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
I agree.
She goes inside, and you hear muffled voices. Are you guys actively trying to listen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
25.
Here goes.
Finally.
I
I
got a
expected to perception. Now I get to use it.
Nice. So, Fern Fern snaps, kind of like gets real close to the door. Are you like putting your ear to like the little crack in it, or like how are you going about this? I just want to get a little visual on how you're listening.
More or less. She's like, I wasn't able to hear any of the conversation before. I'm gonna fucking hear it now. So she's like, she has like a listening device out, like
Yeah.
listening through the door.
Oh no, you know what? You kind of are like, and then what's your rat's name again?
Mina.
Mina.
Mina like sees your eyes and she nods and she runs into your little bag and she pulls out a little stethoscope. It's like one of those like kids ones too that are made out of
Oh, man.
plastic. She like pulls out a tiny one and she puts it on, and then she gets like the bigger one and she like holds it up to the thing, and you're like, well,
It says
listening.
it's inscribed with like play school.
Yeah.
Play
Yeah.
cool.
So you guys listen in, and you hear Velma come in, and she says, hello, Malt. I believe I have a request for the certain archive that we both agree does not exist. And he says, well, I assume that you do, but why? The use of the index is very, very limited, and bringing ire to it is not something that we must do. Unless the higher-ups catch wind. And she says, well, in seeking the truth, I find that our higher-ups appear to be hiding things from us. And she's like, well, that's the reason why we started the fucking thing in the first place, isn't it? And she's like, yes, and I have need of it, because this pertains something, and the whole very foundation of why I'm here lies on knowing this answer. So are you going to let me to use it, or are you going to talk to me in fucking riddles? And he starts laughing. He's like, all right. I think I can help you here. Let me just go deal with. Let me just put away my work, and then I'll give me and you will go open up the. I'm trying to think. They wouldn't call it a crypt. So they would call it a what's the
They
word?
might call it the crypt.
Maybe
Yeah.
a vault or something.
Yeah, I think vault's a better word. Let's go open the vault, and
Should we hide when they come out so that he doesn't
I don't
see
think they're
us?
coming out this way.
then
okay.
Velma says, "Well, I actually have other seekers of truth, and I know you don't like being seen, but they're the ones who brought this to my ire, and and they are also seekers of truth, and if they don't see it for themselves, I fear that they might jump to conclusions and come away with the wrong truth." And he's like, "You brought people into the ire of the vault?"
I like to believe even Frog heard that.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, no. The higher ups cannot find word of this. You know how much we have worked to make sure that our you know what we have sacrificed for this.
Frog's
and she's
even,
like,
looking around like, oh, I gotta hide.
Yeah.
I gotta fucking grab shit and go.
And then Velma's like, I feel that this is slowly becoming more and more necessary that we bring more into the fold, or else we may not gain the support we need. I trust them. They brought forth this message. They brought forth this truth before I even knew about it. And if I fear that if they go away not knowing the whole of it, then they may very well start spreading these false rumors. And then she kind of goes back and forth just a little bit, and then finally says, "Fine, bring them in. And if I die, Lord knows that you're gonna have to deal with this once I die." And he kind of opens the door, and this guy's old.
And we've like at this point, Snaps is like,
Yeah.
I have like a hand like on my bandolier like beneath
yeah.
it. And it's just like, hey.
Yeah, you open the door. This guy's a turtle. He is ancient. Like, yeah, like this guy is old, and he's wearing like outdated robes. Like, whereas Velma was wearing like a really like snappy like okay tailored suit. He's wearing like fucking Game of Thrones maester robes almost.
He's wearing his PJs.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to see people on a regular basis.
Yeah.
he's wearing like old style robes and a pair of worn out slippers.
I love the young people.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, "Well, you can stop skulking out there and come into the room."
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
I don't like meeting you.
Okay.
I don't need to know your names, and I'm not going to tell you mine. But let you know, this is my life's work. And if you tell people about it, I know a god, and he can curse you.
And we know your name.
She looks like directly at Velma, and he's like,
It's on your office, sir.
"No.
And he goes and looks, and it's there.
God damn it, Pedrick. I told you not to put that back." Look, there's certain... yada, 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 truth and shit. Let's go.
Yeah,
We don't have
stuff to do.
time.
Let's go.
All right, so
Yeah.
we go into the
Yeah,
vault.
and he kind of goes to a back room, and then they kind of like go. They like it's like in the floor. They kind of open it up, and it's sort of a thing where you get in there, and it's like fucking arc. It's like the scene in Indiana Jones where you realize that there's a huge fucking basement here just filled with shit.
So we're already in a sub basement, but now we're in the sub basement.
Yeah, you're in the sub basement.
Oh, it's stinker.
yeah.
As opposed to the Dom sub basement, which is an entirely different building.
Yeah, it's very
Is the
clear that this
dom
guy is like
sub-basement
running
just
off
the
books.
attic?
Yeah, it's very clear that you guys are running off book, and you guys kind of do an exchange. If I had more time, I would roleplay this with you guys because this is a real fun character. But you kind of go back and forth about, and Velma talking to him about what exactly she's looking for, and he says, I seem to recall a little bit of that project, but I was still up in the Hillcard facility when that was happening, so I wasn't here to oversee any of that. Though, from what I hear, the fallout seems to have far-reaching effects. That's part of the reason why the review board started cracking down on us so hard here in Oldmesh. Well, I can see why you're so angry, Velma. Them not telling you this. I can't wait to see what you do to those that lied to you. Let's see. Index 4, all 5. Oh, wait, here we go. And he starts leading you down here. And he brings a crystal. It's like a torch, but it has a crystal on top. Yeah, it's like a torchlight, essentially, but it's not fire.
It's a flashlight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a flashlight that goes all around, and he leads you down. And you guys pull these project files, and this place is just—it's not filled. It's not a library. It's like an archive room with like artifacts and various things like that, and jars and shit. And then you get into the back room, and she gets you to this area, and she says, "Well, these are all the projects that were active then, as well as a couple of the specimens." And he just has like jars and like things like that. Like you can see like a artifact of this is like all the products were active that year, not just the one you're looking
Oh,
at.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you have these people
No.
in jars?
No. Like they have what he recognized with it has the weird like it looks like a microwave, but like it's the radiation thing.
It's a microwave, but it's just got a hand that like goes down and like radiates it with like
Yeah.
radiant damage.
Yeah, there's like a weird necrotic hand that kind of goes like this over the food, and it goes.
It's like one of those Halloween candy bowls.
Yeah, it's like that, but very weird like things along the hallway. And then he says, "Well, here we are. Here's what it is. I only got the one jar, and then the rest. Here's the project report." And he kind of pulls out a black binder that's just filled with shit, and he says, "Oh, let's see." And she looks over it, and he's looking at other stuff. And Velma says, "Well, let's see. Let's see. Headed by Lau Hammerman, the Lamar Chris O'Neill, a resident expert on blood magic. Hold on. Zarlo Batwing. Let's see." She's kind of skimming, and he says, "It seems that Zarlo Batwing was some sort of biologist of some sort. And what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Cryptobiologist, xenobiologist."
Cryptozoology?
No, just in terms of like strange and like, you know what I mean?
What does he research?
Unknown creatures.
Like
Unknown-
cryptids?
Not necessarily cryptids, but like, it's kind of like how they have exobiology, where it's like biology out of this world, but in this case, it's of this plane. Extraplanar biology?
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
kind of the
we'd
word
use.
for it.
Yeah. Extraplanar biology expert, and Marlon Kane, a devout religious leader. I mean, a devout religious practitioner, very strong divine magic. And Lau Hammerman seems to have been... Wait a minute. She's written here as a bloodcaster. I thought I was... No. And she's like sort of like rifling through this, and you guys like pick up paper. She's tossed to the side, and you guys are also looking at stuff. Yeah. So you go ahead and roll, and she's gonna roll, and then you guys are also roll
Okay, cool.
What are we rolling?
investigation. This doesn't make sense.
Nat 20.
Nice.
It's just like, huh.
This
Yeah.
is precisely what we're looking for.
Yeah. So as you're looking through it, like these are documents that are written by them, right? And you find, and you like while she's looking through like a lot of the proposals and like all the reports and the actual like graphs and shit that they were doing, you actually like pull out, and you're the first one to open it. It's just sort of this binder, and you're looking through it, and it's actually written that this is Lamar Chris O'Neill's personal research journal.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and as you're flipping through it, there's diagrams of creatures and stuff like that. And then she says, and as you're reading through it, you get the sense of that this project was... I should probably... It's interesting. I'm going to do a weird storytelling thing. It's a flashback. We're going to do a flashback from Lamar's point of
Oh,
view.
man. All right.
And it's sort of like a kind of drawn out a bit and really like broad strokes. So Lamar... It recounts a life of how the team found a creature that was a parasite, but the parasite operated in a way that that in order to survive, it makes creatures see what they want it to see in order to do things they want. So they essentially mind control in not a harmful way, but like, you know, you need more water or like something like that, right? So they trick the people into seeing loved ones, and they follow the loved ones and stuff like that. And then in that, he also connected and has a relationship in terms of relationship to divine aspect, in that when a religious person is shown these things, there's a report, then Chris O'Neill recounts that his personal experience is that a loved one, a friend, was afflicted by this, and he saw a divine creature that the creature made him see, and he manifested that creature for a brief moment, and it burned, the avatar that he imagined burned the house he was in. And then he goes into it, and it seems like Lamar just got obsessed with this idea that this creature this parasite can make you see things, and if it affects a divine caster, they can then in turn manifest something. And this whole thing was about making and crossbreeding this slug with something else to make it more powerful and essentially selectively breed certain attributes of this manifestation. And then they realized that blood magic was the only way to get it to crossbreed and effectively give it more power each generation. So their research project was to literally use magic and infect magic casters with the slug that has similar properties to the word, and this is the red flag for you guys, uses the word similar properties to a Koatoa in its manifestation of a god.
I don't know what that means. Is that the name of a god?
It's the fish people that make their god. They believe so hard in their fucking god that they make it real.
Yeah, and this divine actualization project was them attempting to manifest an avatar of a god by using and infecting divine casters with their own blood magic engineered slug. And then as you go through it, I think let's roleplay this a bit. Like, this is the realization you have when you bring this to the group. There's still a bit more that we can talk about, but we're gonna RP this next part.
I think I found something.
What did you find?
Well, it's O'Neill's personal journal, and it looks like they found a parasite, him and the team, and they were engineering it to essentially use divine casters as hosts to make avatars of gods.
What?
Here.
What?
Oh, hold on. And she flips through it. Her eyes are starting to look almost like scared. I think Snaps can see this. It looks like Velma is legit scared. Like, you have enough insight to be this, and she's like, if they could do that, then I think this is something so much more than us. More. We need to find more about this, and you guys start looking, and together you guys piece together that Lamar's personal journal, he records that he intentionally started infecting this, but Lau Hummerson at the time was against it. They were using animals. They were being good about it, and Lau insisted that they stop going into it because they started using it was voluntary, old people in the church, they had cancer or something, right? And they wanted to be of help. They were also seekers of truth, and they wanted to see their God. And they started looking into it, and they originally started doing that, but Lamar became obsessed, and he started taking it to extremes, to the point of, mindless devotion. And Chris O'Neill threatened to use it on himself. I mean, once he refined it, he wanted to either become God, not really unsure, either become God, make his own God, make God real, or make a deity of some sort.
Never partake of your own stock.
Yeah. and Lau Hummerson was against it and constantly was trying to shut it down. Zarlo Batwing also got roped into the idea, and Marlon Kane was kept out of the loop, kind of still helping with the blood magic aspect of it. And she's a powerful caster, but not a blood caster. But it was enough to help her, be on the know. But it really was Lamar and Zarlo that got really into it, and Lau was kept out of the loop until she found out that they were intentionally infecting and going out into remote areas. And one of the areas you note is up on top of the cliff, a little bit on the outskirts of the city, where they had these facilities, that they had these experiments in, and one of them actually is in the city.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we know where?
Yeah, there's a little area, and it's in his notes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And as you guys are going through this, like all of it starts not connecting together in your minds, and then Casca's like, "Well, fuck, this seems like it's gonna be a fucking mess."
Well, fuck indeed, old man.
Now
indeed.
these records were kept off site, the old administration building back over in the Hillcar facility before we came here. That was back when old man List left was in charge. He must have kept records back in the old place, and then when they started keeping records here, they must have expunged it within the move. Huh. I don't know what to make of this, but I assume that whoever's in charge now knows. And Velma says, "That's right."
Who's in charge?
Well, Taproot's been in charge of the PR department, of sort of our public face for the last 4 or 5 years. Before that, though, it used to be old Limmy. But he's gone. He died. And then before that, it was old man List left. Wonderful lizard folk man. List left Tooth Ripper. Oh, he was the kindest man I knew.
And then he's gone too?
Oh, yeah, he retired. Last I know, he shed his last skin, and he's currently waiting his old days over in the Hilllands to the southwest. Crazy old coot.
All things considered, reminiscing appreciated. This is a little concerning, especially if there's an area in the city that they might still be actively partaking in.
Well, that is concerning, isn't it? Fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I think this needs to go to somebody else who can actually deal with this.
Well, who the fuck can we trust? Well, it's obvious the leadership in the Primordial Truth Temple are all in cahoots. He's right, and they work very closely with the public and the military governments. Who's to say who else also knows about this?
Well,
You could probably get it reopened or something.
Now I like that idea. You're a smart one, aren't you?
Thanks. I'm kind of smart.
Well,
sometimes.
I'm sure that this whole thing can probably be reinvestigated, but with the military, I'm not too sure.
that being considered, we might know some people who might be able to help with this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, I don't even know who the fuck you two are, but if you say you know someone, I guess we're going to take it on word. And Velma says, "You be quiet." Like, they trusted them. Fine. Who do you think we can trust?
Well,
If we take it to someone who's not the military, I guess.
Yes, someone who's not the military.
And also not the Church of Primordial Truth.
Regretfully, I agree. As much as I appreciate and love this organization for what it is, I don't think that we can trust anyone in leadership here.
this might seem like a long shot, but I know that the SRC has different sorts of what's the word I'm like, authority.
Yeah, they're kind of above everything, aren't they? Here.
The SRC? What do you think? What are you talking about? Those lactard adventurers? You don't think we can trust them? Who is this SRC? It seems like Velma's not a public source person. She does not know what's going on in the world outside of her own realm of research. And she says, "Well, there's some sort of new adventure in dealio. They had other they were called other things in the past, but this SRC."
But they have the power to get this case opened and properly investigated, and
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, of all of our options, I feel like they're the only one that can't directly hide the evidence.
Yeah, I mean, they are being kept in control because the public government is vying for power, and they are separate. You know what? I think I would be comfortable bringing this, but not to the office here. I think taking it to Cardinal is the safest bet. Taking it to the root is probably the safest bet of us making sure everything's safe. And Velma says, I think that if Mr. Multier agrees, then I'm willing to go with that.
Well, however,
I mean,
I don't want to ask you to trust us with it, but we have to be going back to Cardinal for college soon anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you would trust us with these documents.
I won't trust you with all of them.
I feel like the journal enough is to.
is pretty
Yeah.
damning.
And the rest of this I'll have to compile anyways before I can present it to anyone that doesn't know any of the internal jargon nonsense. So I think that it will take me a bit of time, but I will be getting this to Cardinal as soon as I can. Probably tomorrow, maybe. But if you think that you can get this there sooner, then get on the first train out of here. I think that's the way to go. Elma's like, we'll have to square away things, and we'll probably have to move forward our timetable, Mr. Molt, about our current restructuring within the organization, within the Primordial Truth. And he's like, I was hoping I'd be gone before we end up moving on that one. But if you say so, Miss Acrosi.
Yeah, however weird it sounds, I can guarantee that we can get the SRC on this pretty quickly. The university has weird ties with them.
All right, then. Sounds like a plan.
They're trying to get a feeder program in directly into the SRC from the university. So
That sounds like a plan.
yeah,
And then we cut.
Okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
gimme.
Yeah, so
Give me the
let's,
documents.
you, for the last bit, you were asking what question?
I mean, I was just like, I had just gotten the final report that Tabard had gotten
Yes.
regarding the project.
It's a watered down version of that. It doesn't give all the personal details of like everything, but you do. It does sort of like have the final report of terminated, and it's sort of project terminated, and there's an official report and then a redacted report that are kind of like in the same area. She kept both copies of what's redacted, what hasn't. And the unredacted copy, essentially, it says that the project actualization was terminated. The divine actualization was terminated. Lau Pickerson was brought off of was not given any more projects, and feeling remorse over the project, left the Primordial Truth to seek the truth in other academia. Lamar Chris O'Neill, excommunicated and kept tabs on, moved up north and is current and stopped being tracked like a year after the project itself. Nothing to suspicious report. Zarlo Batwing was committed suicide, and the church helped cover up, but essentially became an experiment.
I figured as much.
Yeah, I figured.
And then Marlon Kane, similar to Lau, was to Marlon. Similar to Lau, Marlon felt grief over it, but Marlon chose to stay within the Primordial Truth and continue researching, but didn't feel at home at Oadmesh and asked to be transferred to the Cardinal branch. Yeah.
Sure, I'll take the.
Yeah, and those are like, it's kind of the closeout report.
Yeah.
Whereas they got most of like the in stuff, the closeout report has more details in terms of what they're actually succeeding in doing, and you also see like diagrams and like pictures, or is photographs a thing in this world? I think photographs.
Definitely.
Yeah, there are actual photographs.
You gave us like the case documents of the pictures of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's photographs.
Yeah. But they have pictures of what looks like a slug humanoid. Kind of like some of them looks like they've been cut down and like dissected and like open chest, and it looks human meets slug meets fish. And the documents kind of like detail out more, like the final report kind of like does their whole report of like, we crossed the slug with an actual code with a type of blood fungal, then we crossed that with this, and so on and so forth, in terms of like trying to cross them and how they needed more power, and then they needed more energy to make these effects last longer and like stay more stable, and the end result was this blood slug humanoid that had this power. Yeah, and there's a lot of pictures and stuff, and you don't get your head around the jargon, but you get the implications.
Yeah, so I'll take both copies.
Yeah, and I think that from there you guys have cracked the case wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys make your way off. Velma escorts the two of you off the premises, and she says, "Now, if you think you can handle this, by all means, go ahead. But if you wait a couple of hours, I can make sure that we can send some guards with you. Someone I trust that's not related to the church at all. He's just an old drinking buddy. He can go with you guys to make sure you're safe."
I think time is of the essence here.
Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate it, but
I mean, I see your sword and everything, so I know that you can probably handle yourself.
yeah,
but-
I've taken a lot of classes in swordsmanship and magic.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Powerful wizard over here.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you should probably get those cards on yourself.
Okay.
And
We
warn
have
a old man down there that people are probably going to investigate, and I know he doesn't like people, so.
No, me and Mr. Moltz have been go back a long ways. He was my mentor before he was even Alkalite. He's the one who helped me ascertain the extent of my divine casting, and he I can trust above all.
I'm just saying, be prepared for anything.
Yes, and between us two, leadership is not going to be in power long if Mr. Moulton, our plan, comes off without a hitch. So hopefully, the church will survive this, but the church as it is, I don't think we deserve to survive. But hopefully the truth perseveres, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We're always going to be searching for the truth.
All right then.
I feel like at this point, Malmira kind of walks out.
Yeah,
We did like the, I did like the dramatic,
he
like,
sort of
fade
walks up and is
flip.
like, "What you guys doing?" Yeah.
I would leave the building.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
separately.
You would leave the side for that. I just like
he
the
found like the break room coffee machine. And
Yeah,
he's got the
you see him walking by. He's like walking out with a mug, and he's sort of like walking out with like a satchel and stuff like that. You guys see him walk past you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's best if we part ways here then. Good luck.
Agreed.
And you guys leave. Yeah, and you guys close out You
We
guys
bring this immediately to the SRC
yeah,
office.
you go directly.
We got a
to this.
problem. Get the SWAT team.
Yeah.
Like,
Guys, it's happening now.
here's your
Yeah.
address. that You got to go to. Don't trust this thing.
Yeah.
Picture.
Yeah, so together you guys have accomplished in undermining Matilda Taproot's integrity. She gets removed from the review board. And you guys are not given, like, you guys do that, and then the SRC jumps in. A whole different crew is brought in to SWAT the location that's nearby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, bring flashbangs. All of it. Literally all of it.
How many? All.
Just, you misunderstand. What you've heard is a lot.
What do
I
I-
mean all.
What do
Yeah.
What do I bring? Yes.
Yeah.
FBI, open up.
You guys bring this to it. They get that thing swatted. And you guys, Matilda and Seasmost, are brought out into public and are like thrown under the bus politically. Matilda has to resign. Internally, the Church of the Primordial Truth, they end up essentially like wiki leaking a lot of shit about all the higher ups,
Yeah.
and they all publicly resign, and all the people that are like in it, middle management and stuff like that all side with Velma and Mr. Molt, and they kind of like essentially have everyone else higher up resign, most of them facing political charges, and the temple is immediately brought into immediate review. Because of this, that process is going to take a while. You don't know if the church is going to come out of this. The temple, the Primordial Church, is going to come out on top about this, and the investigation does get reopened. Anyone?
And immediately closed because they have all the evidence.
They have the evidence, but they don't have any like suspects. I mean, they have Lamar, but they don't know where Lamar is. There's no body. There's no confirmed body.
Well, they know where. Well, I guess they don't know
Yeah,
precisely where.
they
he is.
know Lamar was the sort of like.
But I
Crucial
think using
points.
his journal, can't they scry for him?
They probably could, yeah. If you guys want to insist on doing that.
Yeah.
I want all this to be squared away.
Probably
Yeah.
set honestly, I would say have someone like investigate and specifically analyze the one person that was on the team that is now in Cardinal, because they were a powerful divine magic user,
Yeah.
and they can if they are
Yeah, they
infected with
have-
parasite hosts.
Yeah, they have a real personal connection to Zarlo.
So, make sure that they don't have
Yeah.
a parasite and there's not like a Cardinal City.
I think I'm fine with that. You guys did bring that up in terms of like if you guys know what creature it is, and you have the picture. You guys have the pictures of what the creature looks like. You guys now know what it looks like by using the journal and stuff like that. You do get a few pings in terms of like a creature that's nearby. There's one, and it was in the SWAT team that they got swatted. They also fought it. I don't know. I don't know order.
Probably killed it.
I don't know chain of events whether or not you guys did the scrying before or after.
Probably
Before?
after.
Yeah, probably been after. So they did kill one of those things, and I gotta. Can you guys?
That's
Can
for
you?
the best.
Can you guys all roll Constitution saving throws for me?
Oh boy.
Wait, what?
Not for you, for the SWAT team.
Oh yeah, sure.
I got an 8 for one dude.
I got a 16 plus something.
You're trying
I got
to
a 14.
You're trying to beat 12. So
Yeah,
8.
8
Nope.
plus whatever.
My guy does it.
So does mine.
All right, mine does too. So yeah, so one guy becomes infected with this thing. Yeah,
And I assume he's then quarantined.
he's quarantined, but the progression of it's just awful. It's slow. It takes about like 2 weeks before something happens, and they try to remove. They do end up removing it, but he's the guy's like, oh, let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it progresses. Also, by the way, if you guys had followed, there was a way for you guys to go investigate that one too.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of it. You meet up back. Yeah, Theodore comes to thank you guys personally, and he says, if you guys are ever along the coast on the in the marshes, I got some excellent fucking bayou. What's the word for those bayou houses that are on stilts? The bungalows. They call them bungalows.
Yeah.
I got a really good bungalow over there that you guys are more than welcome to use anytime.
Ah,
Well, thanks.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you you know what organization to talk to if you need to hire us for
Yeah.
something again.
You know, I've been out of the game, but the SRC seems to be coming about. All the previous organizations were all made of little kids and old men that didn't know when to quit. But yeah, odds are.
Conspicuously looks at the halfling, the other halfling.
Wait, why?
He said little kids and old men, and I was
Oh.
like, we're kids. We're children.
Yeah, but if you ever need my help, I'm sure I could put you in connection with someone that can do a little bit of helping.
Yeah, we know how to get a hold of you.
All right, good job.
Yeah.
All in. And you guys like cheer, and he says, yes. And if you ever need someone's knees caps removed, you know who to ask. You guys are sitting in the White Rose Inn or whatever.
Very tempting.
Yeah. Let me do a little quick ending. That's the end of it, guys. You did it.
Speaking of getting kneecaps removed, I'm not removing kneecaps. I want to make that clear. But I go to the pawn shop, dude.
Oh yeah.
The contact, and I'm just touching stuff, and I kind of like tip him off, like, if you see this, don't mess with it.
Oh, like the big fish slug thing.
Yeah, and can you send it along the pipeline too?
Okay.
Because
Yeah, the information network of like
You know.
this shit's bad.
this shit's
Yeah.
bad. It can spread,
Yeah.
and it might affect mass call as well, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the Ilthos Butcher investigation.
Hooray!
Reopened
Yes.
and currently way more scary than anyone thought it would be.
Yep. And we return safely to Cardinal.
I just have a quick
Presumably.
comment.